It's game time. So lock and load. We're going to be talking about toxic masculinity stuff that we like doing because we're toxic males or whatever. Just going to be doing some toxic masculine stuff and hobbies that we like to do. So I brought my two of the pistols that I always keep with me around where I sleep. The 9mm, the Glock 17 and the LC9S Pro with Crimson Trace laser target indicator designator, and so there you go. So there's been a lot of stuff. Lock and load sound from the Glock. Been a lot of stuff in the news about toxic masculinity, and people have been talking about it because of the Gillette commercial and stuff. So I just thought I would like to share all the toxic stuff that I'd like to do. Maybe people could have suggestions of other toxic masculinity things, other ideas that I could do or should do more of, like juggling magazines or tossing my loaded magazines in the air.
I made sure I shaved for the show.
I didn't shave. I don't think you could tell, but I'm trying to juggle these magazines, and I don't really even know how to juggle. But Squib is at work, so he can't really juggle magazines. He's just trying to juggle his semi-sober, semi-incarcerated employees.
Yeah.
And not be electrocuted.
Yeah.
So,
but I got to be careful, though, using that Gillette razor blade now, because anything's bound to happen, right?
The whole thing is not just Gillette. I mean, I was down. I already made a video, I think, on the prior. This is my little bag. It's like a shotgun shell pouch that I stick all my 9mm mags in. I've got Glock mags and stuff in here too. But Gillette is Procter & Gamble, and I already made a video about Procter & Gamble because when they demonetized everything, Procter & Gamble is Google's biggest account. So I basically stopped buying Charmin, Tide Pods, everything Procter & Gamble makes, and I didn't even know that they made Gillette. And so I don't need to buy any more there. I may need to, I think I'll need to go onto one of those dollar shave things where they just send you the shaves, and I'll probably save money doing that, I guess. Why do I need Gillette razors? I mean, some of this stuff, you should just buy financially, you should buy the cheapest stuff available for razors, toilet paper. I mean, if you're going to wipe your ass with a piece of toilet paper, it doesn't have to be, I mean, it's better than a corn cob, but it doesn't have to be the top most expensive toilet paper on the planet, which is Charmin, which is Procter & Gamble, which is Gillette. So in between them demonetizing me and me, when the whole thing came up, because I think I have 950 something subscribers and you need 1,000, right? So it doesn't matter to me. I never, but it's just, if they were going to demonetize me, I was going to demonetize them. And so it's the same company that I wasn't buying from before. I just need to keep not buying from them in the future. Now I've got a new reason. But as far as toxic masculinity, now that I started juggling my magazines, I got to put them back in here and reorganize them. Which organizing your ammo is like another guy thing in your magazines. So I guess that's toxic. And I was at Quinn's Pub the other day, and one of the ladies was starting to say how bad Trump was or something, and they asked me how I felt about it, and I just gave Trump train. And of course, I really haven't liked some of his, there's a big thing about his William Barr as Attorney General. I saw the video of like from '91 or something of him testifying for I think Senator Ed Kennedy and for when Bush nominated him, and he's kind of a gun control guy, so not really going to support that person. Let's see what other. Oh yeah, what other toxic? I'm not going to try and juggle my loaded AK magazines. They're kind of too heavy if I drop them. But they're soft points. They're the soft points, which are the ones that are legal to take out in Hawaii. Because I guess Full Metal Jacket was a scary name, so they could only have soft points in hunting areas. Anyway, it's just a 30 rounder. I've got they finally posted the text on Dianne Feinstein's assault 2019 assault weapons ban. And I'm assuming it's not going to pass this year, but who knows if Kamala Harris gets elected president. I guess she's the top new libtard, feminazi, California person that is on top of the heap now that I guess Hillary is definitely not running, I guess. Who knows? Making fun of Hillary, does that count as a... All right. Where's that knife that I just... Oh, here it is. So here's like here's the knife that I got, which definitely counts as a toxic masculine thing. It's like, I'm not moving to Hawaii until I get this knife. And I brought this with me. So it's not the double edge, so it's, as far as I know, it's legal. It's a saw on the top, two different saws on the top for sawing wood. But it's a pretty cool blade. As far as I know, since it's not double-edged, it's legal. There's no length limitations on knives in the state of Hawaii. I've read the knife laws, so there's no limitation on how long your edges can be. And but I've got a lot of knives. You know, if I was just to try and sharpen all my knives, that would be like year-round work. Got one of these cool Fast Hawks that I got a long time ago. I had to get the sheath off of the internet. It's got like a tech lock, and basically, so just a lot of toxic guy stuff that guys like doing, like playing with our toys. Let's see, what else have I got around here that's toxic? Toxic guy stuff. Right, so yeah, I was out back at the pool area today practicing with my fighting sticks, doing Cali flow drills. They're just sticks. There's no pointed edges, but I like doing the flow drills from time to time. This is like the center of a palm tree. That's what these are made out of. So if you ever watched Game of Death with Bruce Lee and Dan Inosanto, Dan Inosanto was the, I mean, that's filmmaking, not fighting really, but Dan Inosanto was the level with the sticks. Let's see if, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this with this red light because the wood is red, but it's basically made out of the center of a palm tree. And I just do my Heaven 6. There's 6 movements, so some people call it Heaven 6, some people call it Broken 8. I'm not going to do it in here because I would just probably hit my own laptop with it or screw something else up. Not enough room. That's why I went outside, because there's enough room to do it. They call it Broken 8 because when you're moving the sticks around, it looks like a figure 8, but it's really only 6 movements. But once you start doing it, it took me about a month of practicing to where I could do it without thinking. And when you could, after you get to the point where you don't have to think about it, you can do it automatically, then you kind of get it. It's like a flow. And so I like to take it out and just for the feeling of flowing. So I go out and back and I practice with these, and it's like just to get the flow. And it's you use the same thing with whether you're fighting with swords or knives, the same movements. And so these are really great to practice with. And a lot of people are, there's a lot of Cali when, oh yeah, recent story. The Patagonia squid riots. I saw a news flash on Bloomberg about that, so I did do some research, and what it was it was a riot about, I think it wasn't in Patagonia. I think it was there was a conference on worldwide water laws and policies, because people fight wars over access to water. And so basically what it was is a lot of people were stick fighting against the police at this at the worldwide conference on water rights in, like, I think it was, I don't know if it was India or Pakistan or someplace like that. And Patagonia is in South America, and at least that's where I think it is. And so the riot wasn't anywhere near the squid, and the squid weren't rioting, but it was called the Patagonia Squid Riots for some reason, because the fishermen were angry. But the riots, it was stick fighting. The police were fighting a bunch of people with sticks like this. Maybe not this particular kind. They might have used bamboo. I have some bamboo versions of this, but so I don't know if doing Broken 8 or Heaven 6 is a guy thing, but I like feeling the flow, because whether you're fighting with knives or swords, it's the same movement. And just once you get the feeling where you don't have to think about it, then it's a really good feeling, just flowing. And it can apply to other things in life. They call it Cali flow drills. Cali is Filipino martial arts, but anyway, I need to get a leather worker to build me a better satchel for this, because this cloth one that came in, it's just not going to last. It didn't, but whatever. It works for now. Let's see, what other guy stuff? I haven't really got around to using my camping knife that much, but I've shown you guys this one before. Like Kryptek Kydex sheath for it, and a Tech Lock, another Tech Locking back there. And this is my camping knife. I've only got my red gel flashlight here with me at the moment, so, but it's got a Cerakote on it, Sand Viper Cerakote. This is Dawson Knives out of Prescott, Arizona, that makes this. I didn't make it to the knife company when I was in Prescott, but it's full tang. It's a really nice blade, and I was impressed with some of their videos. I mean, basically in their videos, they stuck this knife into a tree and then jumped up and down on it. And so I was like, okay, they hardened it. They know how to temper steel, but it's a pretty good camping blade. Let's see, what's some other toxic guy stuff that I can do? Oh, my karambit, of course. I don't go anywhere without it. So this is another one of those things you get from the flow drill. Even if you don't deploy this blade, the retention ring works as a pretty good knuckle duster if you need to, and you don't want to deploy an edged lethal weapon. It's got a glass breaker for breaking out of a car if you're trapped in it, but it also doesn't make a bad jabbing device. So you don't actually, you can defend yourself without deploying the lethal aspect of this if you don't want to, but it's like a tiger's claw. So, but it's all in the flow once you get the Cali flow. The thing about this one, this is the new version with the new locking system, and it's got this little, you have to push down on this to lock and unlock it. It's the old ones were just liner lock, and this one isn't. It's got a extra locking mechanism because it's right here. Turn get the light again. It's this locking mechanism right here, And the only problem is, so if you lock it, you can't close it like that. And the problem is, if it's locked and it closed, you can't open it either. So you have to make sure before you put it in your pocket that this thing is in the position where if you need it, it'll open. So, and it's sometimes it'll move just, but when you move around your clothes and you don't know it, and then if you need it, it won't. So you have to make sure. It's like checking your, if you carry with the round in the chamber, you always check your gun before you go out with it. You have to check this knife before you go out with it. If you expect to be able to deploy it, because the whole reason why they put that on here there wasn't to make it so it wouldn't open up. It was because people were concerned with just the liner lock, that if you did a reverse strike with the spine of the blade, that it would just, the liner lock could fail and you could have catastrophic consequences if it closed on a reverse grip when you're holding it like that. So if you did traditional karambits, both sides were in Philippines, both sides, it was double-edged. Both sides were sharp, but in America, they don't make it like that because a lot of states like Hawaii, a double-edged blade would be in violation of state law. But so this is a single-edged folding pocket knife, and it's not in violation of state law, and I never go anywhere without it. Let's see. Oh, somebody liked one of my comments out there on somebody else's YouTube channel. All right. I'm going to go check the externals really quick to see if there's anybody out there yet. Probably not, because it's starting a little chat early tonight. Let's see. Squid, Kingpin, Just Dano. Yeah, it's not a heat lamp. It's this French... get back on the page. Dano, it's not a heat lamp. It's this French angled military flashlight, 2 D-cell batteries. I showed it, I think, last week. It's got a button that we could leave it either on or momentary with a button for sending Morse code. Well, there aren't that a lot of people that know Morse code, but it's an angled flashlight. So I have a clear one in the other room, one without. It's the same thing. It's just I put the gel in this one and the other one. I have one in each room where I live. So, but let's see, other toxic masculine stuff I do. Let's see. Well, maybe you guys can give me some new suggestions. There's always whiskey. Drinking whiskey out of the bottle, straight out of the bottle, I could do that. That would impress. I don't know if that would impress anyone, but it's one of those toxic masculinity things.
Now, there's some women who can do that too. So,
yeah, Squib is still at work, in case anybody wanted to know. So he's not talking too much.
24 more minutes.
All right, well, take your time. Don't let that new guy electrocute the guy. Don't let the recently incarcerated person electrocute you in your mad rush to get out of there.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
You've got your earbuds on, right? He can't hear what I'm saying, right?
No, he can't. And yeah, I'm up on the upper level here. He's down on the lower level. He's going around telling everybody what it would like to be locked up, you know.
That's really not something you're supposed to do at work. Brag about it. You know, yeah, I beat up all the guys in D-cell.
As if the guys on the floor don't already know. Oh, did I say that?
I don't think being in jail counts as a good thing for toxic masculinity, but I guess it is technically. But I don't.
No, I'm not going to count it either.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. I'm going to check. So if you want to link Dano, it's in the Gun Channel site at gunchannels.com/HVS. I'll recopy it and post it again. There it is. Oops, looks like I copied too much, but it's all there. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to do some Second Amendment stuff since we're here. And I noticed that Feinstein's, we had made some. The FBC did a video about from Star Wars when the Emperor says, "Commander, execute Order 66." And so that's Dianne Feinstein's 2019 assault weapon ban is Bill 66. So I'm going to screen share that bill if I can find it. I think it's on this page. I think I just don't want to share all my emails. Get the right page up first. Because this one has all your addresses on it. All right. Somebody wants me to have a new credit card. Somebody, City Prepper, just upload a video. Twitter feed. Right. And I'll also discuss the New Hampshire bill. Some people were talking about. All right, come on, screen share work. Okay, so this is a gun channel show, so we're going to do some Second Amendment stuff. And here it is, the assault weapons ban bill. So I noticed that my Benelli Supernova shotgun is listed. The whole Supernova series is listed as exempted from the bill, which I thought was, if they wanted to ban dangerous weapons, it's a pump action shotgun, but that Benelli Supernova is like a kick-ass. If you have to pick a weapon in an urban environment for self-defense or assaulting something, that's a hell of a weapon.
Yeah, one of the I've commented in the past about the just using a 12 gauge against pumpkins. It literally, with double-aught buck, it blows them to bits. And if you watch,
if a person got hit with that wasn't wearing any kind of body armor, they'd be dead so fast. They just fall like a heap of.
Yeah, those gore videos on Facebook that people used to post a lot. I watched one video, and this dude just like unloaded on a dude and like shot him. He hit him once in the arm, and it just blew almost all like. Where it hit on his arm, it was point blank. It just blew like that whole part of his arm right off. Like not like an explosion, but like all the muscle, meat, and fat just like gone. I was like, whoa, man! Like, you know, obviously, yeah. It's
like shotguns are, especially the 3.5 Magnum. The ones that can handle 3.5 Magnum loads those are like incredible weapons, and they want to ban it. So this is like a political. Bill 66 here. She pulls it out every year and makes a few changes, and so I guess we probably don't have to worry about this actually getting anywhere until a Democratic president is in office, like Kamala Harris. She's a gun grabber from California, so. If her and Tulsi Gabbard get into the executive branch, then look out. We're going to have all kinds of shit to worry about. But they banned the AK, and Mike DeVore is on the assault weapon list. I guess they don't want Jewish people defending themselves or something.
Which one is this? This is just the regular assault weapons ban that Feinstein put out?
Yeah, I'm starting out with this one. I'll do some other ones later. This is Bill 66.
This time they go after, what is it, pistol braces too, specifically?
Okay, let me present this and I'll scroll down. So present to everyone. All right.
I haven't read it yet, but I mean, they just expand it more. Whatever they can put on there, they just put on there. What I don't get is, okay, so my attorney general reinterpreted our assault weapons ban, and she claims it's legal. Now, if that's the truth, why hasn't states like California done the same thing? Like, if they're so right and they know the law, and they're allowed to reinterpret this law like this, then every state with an assault weapons ban that was a cookie-cutter ban could easily just reinterpret it the same way, which just blows me away that no one else does.
they do one state at a time as a petri dish to see if they can get it to work, and if it works and it survives challenges, then in appellate courts, then they'll move it to all the other lefty states. So if when they go after high capacity magazines or anything in one state, if they can get a law doing that, then all the other blue states will do the same thing. But they usually do one state at a time to test it.
Yeah, but I mean, she just goes, "Oh, the original assault weapons ban said these weapons were banned, so therefore you can't buy them," and it has nothing to do. And she says, I need to do a video on it because I need to clarify this to people. But her clarification letter said, enforcement notice says that the action is what makes them dangerous, not the features of the rifles, which just blew me away. It was like,
well, they list all these features in their definition of what a semi-automatic rifle is, an assault weapon is. A semi-automatic rifle that has the capacity to accept a detachable magazine and any one of the following: a pistol grip, a forward grip, a folding, telescoping, detachable stock, or is otherwise foldable or adjustable, a grenade launcher. I don't know, none of my long guns have grenade launchers, but a barrel shroud. What is dangerous about a barrel shroud? I mean,
well, it allows you to, where they get it from is a front handguard. So the front handguard.
What is dangerous about a front handguard?
Well, it allows you to hold the weapon easier, which is stupid because, I mean,
a threaded barrel.
Now I think that specifically goes after the Tech 9, honestly. The Tech 9 or maybe something like an Uzi.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I had the guy at the barbershop took me out, and he wanted to sell me some Tech 9s because he had an FFL. We just went out shooting one time, but he had full auto stuff, and I wasn't into guns back then. I was into guitars because I was just a teenager, but whatever. I guess people like those Tech 9s. I know the rappers always used to talk about Tech 9s in their videos, but whatever.
That's why I always try to use that as not like a bogus talking point, but I always try to be like, hey, if these are all military weapons, then why did the government go after a weapon that black people like and was never a military weapon? There's never
gangsters like it. No rap. Yeah. Maybe they just don't like rap. Okay, I can at least relate to not liking rap. But
it gets, people forget that the assault weapons ban was part of the 94 crime bill. And that, if they want to be all high and mighty, well, that was meant, the 94 crime bill was really meant to go after black people. I mean, not completely, but. So I try to stuff those words down there, in their head.
Yeah, so the assault weapons ban is racist. But it seems to be racist against Russians because they definitely don't like AKs. They ban every kind of AK or anything like it in this bill. So,
yeah, my thing is I don't know if you have read my Attorney General's enforcement notice, but she just said because there's a bunch of guns named on the assault weapons ban, those guns are banned by name in any format. And she came out with a compatibility test that says if you can swap any of the major parts with any of these guns named, then that is that gun. So I think it was 2 or more parts. So, if you have an AR-15 and it has the same bolt, or, it's different. So technically a 9mm AR-15 would be legal, but no FFL has enough balls to sell you one. Even under her enforcement notice, like a dedicated 9mm AR lower that cannot take AR-15 mags could be sold as a neutered, MA compliant AR-15, but they'd never do it. I mean, those people are so.
You posted that a Hawaii bill that they proposed. I sent that guy a letter that I sent him an email.
Yeah.
I'm going to read you this email. I'm going to find the email and email it Let's see. Just gonna this thing sent.
So I almost don't blame. I want to get mad at these guys for not pushing the envelope, but on the same head, like you don't want to blame these guys because you have people who have no clue about any of this stuff and they just want it all banned. And
Yeah,
they'll be coming after you.
Okay, so for the people that didn't know about this, in Hawaii, they're proposing a bill, working on a bill that will ban guests staying in hotels from having any guns or ammunition. And apparently it was because the police raided a hotel room and the guy had 18 knives. That's not illegal. He had 800 rounds of ammunition. That's less than a case of ammo, and a bunch of rifles and mags, which aren't illegal. None of which was illegal. I don't know why they confiscated this stuff. It was in a hotel room. And if the hotel told the cops, we don't agree to have this on our property, then okay, but they should have told him that before he checked in and not just, okay, told the police to confiscate his guns. But this is like a show kind of thing. So here's the letter I wrote to the guy, Representative Brower. It was called "Shall Not Be Infringed" was the topic in my letter that I wrote him. I have his phone number too. It was because it was in the Channel 2 KHON news, and he had his email and he wanted input, so I gave him input. Dear sir, you swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution. What part of "shall not infringe" do you not understand? If you break your oath to support the Constitution, do you not automatically forfeit the right to govern? Before you answer, I refer you to one of the inspiring documents to our Bill of Rights, the 12 Limitations of Government, penned by Scottish law clerk Andrew Fletcher. I left out the part about there being a keyboardist in Depeche Mode named Andrew Fletcher. Anyway, please reconsider your reckless course toward needless infringements of our civil rights. You are merely pandering to an extreme firearm confiscation agenda. To my knowledge, there is nothing illegal about possession of less than a case of ammunition, 18 knives, and whatever else was in the hotel room in question. In this country, the government and the servant and the people are the master. The people are free to exercise their civil liberties. And here's my Star Wars moment, I find your apparent lack of commitment to the U.S. Constitution disturbing. So that was my Darth Vader. And I just wish I could do that, like that Jedi choke that Darth Vader did on the Death Star, but I don't know how to do that through the internet. So I just, I use the Star Wars reference instead. I find your lack of commitment to the U.S. Constitution disturbing. And so that was that. Anyway, so you posted that thing. I had to look that up. I can't really see that stuff on my cell phone because it's, I don't know, either old or I didn't upgrade the browser or whatever. But I did look at it. I did search KHO because I could read the link, and I found the news story about it. And I don't see how supporting. I mean, I guess they did that because of the hotel shooting in Vegas. That was their motivation. But if they just went into some guy's room and he didn't do anything wrong other than have that stuff in his hotel room, that's nothing wrong about that I could think of. He didn't. I mean, if he didn't, and we'll get to the. Okay, now let's switch to the New Hampshire thing.
I didn't hear about. I think I may have heard about this New Hampshire thing, but oh boy.
Yeah.
New Hampshire is see a bunch of people from Massachusetts moved just over the border in like Seabrook.
State of New
Loads
Hampshire.
of people.
An act relative to extreme risk protection orders. So these are red flag laws. Now, in my mind, red flag laws are like death warrants. The police can go in shooting and, at 5 a.m, which is what happened in Maryland, right, to that guy. And
Correct.
Why didn't they just wait for him to go to work? If they wanted his guns, they could wait till he left for work and gone in and got his guns. And
just grabbed him. They could have just grabbed him, right, in a transitional position. It's much easier to grab somebody when they're like, in transition and not in their house.
Yeah, if you wait, but if you wanted to kill him, that's how you should do it. I mean, yeah, you wait to, when he's there, he's sleeping, it's 5 a.m. If you want to kill him, so it's like a death warrant. An
Yeah, no,
extreme risk protection order. Why? It's like you see at any cause. It's like a spouse, an ex-spouse, person cohabitating with a person who cohabitated with another person, but who no longer shares the same residence. So if like somebody who you rented a room in your house to like 10 years ago didn't like you, they could call up and get one of these protection orders issued against you. And
no, I get what you're saying. I mean, I understand. Like, so in Mass, they fought really hard to get, like, what are they called? Pink slipping somebody or whatever that's called. They removed that from the bill completely. And I think it was State Senator Cream in Mass said that this was not about mental health. And I was like, well, what? I was like, so wait a minute. You're going to go into someone's house, you're going to take their guns away, and then they are not going to be sent to be psychologically evaluated. What's the purpose? Like, what? So, like, to me, that doesn't make any sense. Like, all right, so you get someone who's dangerous and who's a danger, and you're only going to take the guns away. You're not going to take the knives out of the drawer. You're not going to take the shoelaces away. You're not going to take their car keys away.
You're not going to take the 2 cans of gas in the garage.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I mean, like, but it's going to completely stop these people. I mean, I think that if they have evidence to prove that, then it should be included with like the mental health grab, where they grab you and you know, put you in the program against your will and evaluate you. Like, why is that not part of it?
I mean, the whole
Because that's
thing,
not going to apply with the public. The public will not accept that if they just start snatching you out of your house and putting you in the loony bin until you can prove otherwise. But snatching your guns, well, think about it. There's a lot of people out there don't own guns, don't care about them or whatever. So they're like, oh yeah, that'll make us safe. It's all about placating people, and people are such sheeple, and they just want to be told what to do. I mean, as much as our country is founded on, you know, individual rights, and there are so many people that just roll over and just tell me what to do. So when you have the senator get on TV, or you have the anchor person get on TV, and they go, all we got to do is do this and everything will be safer. Always be safer. And it doesn't affect them. Why? Because they don't have guns. They don't care. Or some of these people are actually willing to just hand over their one single solitary gun for home defense that they don't care about. I don't want that thing in my house anyhow. So it doesn't mean anything to them. But in a down the road scenario where everybody's either been locked up or disarmed, and things don't go so well, you know, it'll be too late then.
I hate to say, look at Venezuela, but yeah, they took all the guns, and now they're just fucked. The National Guard in Venezuela tried to overthrow Maduro just the other day, and the military in between the Cubans and that he pays and the military, they put down the rebellion, the revolt. And I was saying, you know, I mean, hey, if I wanted to kill somebody, I could do it with this stick. You know,
right?
So,
but if they went into your house and took you away and had you evaluated, and they took you away for half a day, or they took you away for 2 weeks, all right, now you're not going to work. And even if you are, even if were able to give you a slip saying we're evaluating, everybody at work's going to wonder about you, and you're not going to keep your job very long.
Well, I mean,
so let's say you're a single parent.
Unless they work at your company, Squib.
Yeah, well, yeah, unless they work at my company, then I'll hire you back, apparently. And let's say you're a single parent, and they haul your ass away to evaluate you. Who's going to get your kids? I'll tell you who, Child Protective Services.
Well, they already have these programs in my state. Like, they can already pink slip your ass.
It's not going to be popular with the masses. But if you take away a possession, you label that possession dangerous, and you don't take away the individual, then that's going to be popular with people.
So I watched I was watching Iraq Veteran 888, and they said in New Jersey that they passed a high capacity magazine or normal capacity magazine ban in New Jersey, and you're not allowed to have them. You have to turn them in, and apparently not one person has turned them in according to Iraq Veteran 888. I don't know what research they did, but
AWAG said the same thing, that no one turned them in. AWAG's a Gun Channels member from New Jersey. Well, Squib's been in a lot more chats than him with me.
Okay, well, I guess if not one person has turned them in, then it just goes to show you how meaningful some of these laws, if they pass them, are. It's just that it would be the whole thing with the red flag laws and gun confiscation laws. It's just a nightmare scenario for if police have to go house to house, door to door with a list, of who's got guns, and they have to confiscate guns. Eventually, the people are going to start shooting back anytime a cop knocks on their door, and that won't be good for the police or the people. And eventually, it'll be a police state, or there won't be any police left. They'll either be dead or they'll quit. And
we're already at the police state level here, so I mean,
now, as a constable, would you be the one that has to serve one of these?
No, just civil. I mean, I can serve criminal apparently, which has been proven now by my boss. But I only do civil.
So let's say the locals were too chicken shit to go serve one, and they go, well, make him do it. I mean, you got to be a little bit concerned.
Yeah,
he's on gun channels. Let's get him to do it.
I'd be calling the people ahead of time and letting them know.
I'm coming to take your guns. Please hide them where I can't see them.
I'll be over at about it'll be like Sidney Poitier at the end.
I have to stop at the coffee shop.
The end of the Jackal.
I'm calling to let you know. I'm going to let you know I'm on my way to your house to confiscate your guns, but I am going to stop at the coffee shop. That'll take me an hour at the donut shop, and it'll take me at least an hour to eat a donut. So,
well, as far as I know, the way these are written, you won't know who did it, and you don't get to face them. Even though I thought in court you were supposed to face your accuser, you don't get any due process, and there's no penalty if it's proven that it was a false accusation. At the very least, the person should get charged with filing a false police report, but it's BS.
Well, there's like a huge fine in my state, but if it's some like old lady who is like crotchety and just scared, like they're not going to charge her with anything or fine her. Come on.
Or in my case, what happened when I had police at my door, it was because there was a brain damaged mental lady downstairs who kept a log of every time I walked on the floor and flushed the toilet because she could hear it. And she kept calling the dispatcher saying there was something wrong upstairs. She just didn't like me walking on the floor. But she was in a car accident. She had brain damage. She had to have a brain operation, and she was on anti-brain seizure medications. And that's what I told the cops. But I had like a series of tactical squads at my door, and I can tell you it's not fun when you have in one evening like 8 different tactical squads show up at your door, and you have to explain this shit, and they don't believe you until the next day when I find out everything that I told them. Yeah, they actually got a hold of the lady who was calling the dispatcher's psychiatrist, state psychiatrist, and she was on those drugs, and I was like, I told the cops, like, I don't know how anti-brain seizure medications works, but it sounds pretty bad, and she complains every time I walk on the floor. She's nuts. But it's like I was calm, cool, and collected, and so the police figured I wasn't doing anything wrong, and so they just stopped responding after like 10 different confrontations at my door. I opened the door, and there they were, and it's not fun. But yeah, but they can't charge her. I asked them, isn't it illegal to file a false police report? And they said, yeah, but if she has mental problems, it's not going anywhere. They aren't going to convict someone. So if you have a mental disease or defect, you can file all the false police reports you want, and they can't do anything about it legally. I mean, the next day the police showed up and hauled her away they showed up with paramedics to check her medication. and I think they hauled her away. Why don't you arrest the guy upstairs? It's like, he's not doing anything wrong. We talked to him for hours.
When my wife and I first got together, we got a small 2-bedroom apartment on the edge of town, and the crotchety old lady downstairs did not like the sound of our kids. There were other kids in the complex. It's like when you move into an apartment complex, you're going to have neighbors you don't like, and you're going to have neighbors that don't like you. And we tried to keep the kids to keep it down, but they were all young and stuff like that. And we're upstairs and she's downstairs. We didn't ask for an upstairs apartment. That's what was available. And she would actually hit the ceiling of her apartment with her broomstick when we were too loud. And we tried to get the kids to calm down. Finally, she started calling the cops on us. Cops would show up and go, according to city ordinances or township ordinances, you know, all we're allowed to do is come in here and tell you to quiet it down. We can't arrest you. We can't. But every single time she calls, we have to come back. Understand that we're not going to escalate this unless you escalate this. But there's nothing you can do to get this to stop. This is just the way the laws are written.
And so every time they call the dispatcher, there's like, how many cops showed up at your door?
2.
I had like 6 or 7.
Damn, dude. Well, and that's how many, you know, at 6 or 7 getting taken out of patrol where they could be actually doing something useful, and instead they're at your door. But here's the thing, though. One day, I saw her son. He was coming out of the apartment. I said, "Excuse me, do you know her?" And, yeah, that's my mom. And I said, "Yeah, you know, I can't talk to her. What is her problem?" And he goes, "She's old, and she's got memory issues, and she's got some other issues." And I said, "Then why don't you take her in and take care of her?" He goes, "We don't want her at our house." And I said, "Then put her in a home." "Oh, she doesn't want to go in a home." "Oh, so this is your in-between. You're going to stick her in an apartment where you don't have to deal with her, but she doesn't have to be in a home." He goes, "Yeah, that's why." And I go, "She's constantly calling the cops on us." He goes, "Look, dude, I'll try to talk to her, but you got to understand, she's just going to keep doing this." And I'm like, this is the... So we went and got a house. Screw it. You know?
Eventually, the dispatchers figure it out after, like, you know, hopefully before nobody gets killed. You know, but... It's like not fun having like 7 guys show up at your door with guns ready for battle, thinking that there's some violence going on, and they're ready. They were ready to rush the place, you know. And I was just calm and collected, and I talked to them. I didn't even have to fucking answer the door after the, you know, 5th or 6th time. I was, you know, just gonna leave a note on my door, you know, come back with a warrant, you know. But
my ex-wife called Child Protective Services on me 2 different times. They came into my house and they investigated me. I had somebody show up at the door, and I said, "Get out of here. I don't, you know." And she's like, "Look, we can do this one or 2 ways. You can let me in and let me do my job, or I can come back with 2 sheriff's deputies, a warrant, and you'll be taken out of here, and your kids will be coming with me." And every time they come into the house and they see the house is clean, the kids are clean, the kids are unharmed, the fridge is full of food, that the dogs have got their dog licenses, that everything is all, and every single time they go, "Okay, this is just another false report." And every time I'd be, "Aren't you going to do something?" "Nope." What the? Okay, this is, you know.
I know how you feel.
So when they've got something where the police are going to show up and they go, "Look, we're here for your guns. You can either give them to us or we'll come in there and take them." All right. Now, the only way they're going to know is if your state has some sort of registration. Well, mine does.
Me too.
You know, you do, yours does, Rupan's does. I mean,
it was really funny when the last 2 cops showed up. It was just 2 of them instead of 7 the last time, and so they talked to me for 2 minutes, and I said, "You guys want to come in and look around or something?" Because they said, "Well," I told them, "I'm watching Law and Order." You know, that's what I was doing. I was literally watching Law and Order, and they show up because they think there's fun. "Do you want to come in and watch Law and Order?" They said, "No, we have other things. We have other stuff to do." So it's like, well, why are you here then? It's like,
well, for somebody who's a law-abiding citizen who's never had an interaction with the law enforcement or any other form of government in that way, shape, or form, it's a foreign idea to them. So they think the only reason cops or somebody from the city or county or state is going to knock on your door is because you're breaking the law. And that's not necessarily so. And for somebody who hasn't gone through it, until you've gone through it and been accused and had somebody, I mean, it's embarrassing having somebody going, "Open your fridge, we want to see if you have food." What the fuck, bitch? Does it look like we're starving in here? You know, but you can't say that. You know, it's like, how dare you come into my home and my property and my kids and and so for somebody who's never gone through that, you know, you might think I'm a little bit, you know, well, he's got anger issues. No, I'm still unhappy about the way I was treated by the government over nothing. And they didn't go back And they didn't go into my ex-wife's home and go demand to see the food and go to make sure the dog licenses were up to date and make sure that the house was clean and then ask her, why did you file this if no. And it's bullshit. So for somebody out there who's never gone through it, until you have, don't go and judge people who are saying these red flag laws are bad. They're bad. And they're only going to get worse.
Yeah, and obviously, I don't really care what my neighbors think, but if they have to saw, if you see like they saw in like 9 different occasions the police marching right to my door, when you have like a bunch of police cars with lights roll in, and they all rush right up to your apartment just to talk to me at the door. I mean, I don't care, but it's like they must have thought there was like a major thing going on, and it was just the medical. It was the person with brain. It was a brain damaged person downstairs, and I told him I'm not trying to insult the lady. She was in a car accident. She had permanent unrecoverable brain damage, and she's on drugs prescribed by the state. So it was a state psychiatrist who let her out of the loony bin or the hospital, and the state was paying for her rent. The state was paying for her medication. The state was paying for the dispatcher, and the police kept showing up at my door. So, I dealt with it, and they wound up hauling her off to the loony bin. And eventually she was evicted because she was also a pain in the ass to the people that she rented it from. So, anyway. Now there's a nice lady downstairs, and I have no problems whatsoever.
But that's, it is pretty bad that the default is just to threaten you. Like, oh, you want us to get a warrant? Oh, we'll come back and we'll F up your whole house, and we'll take your time and we'll screw your stuff up, or, unless you do this now. And yeah, I agree with you. It's pretty, I've never had that happen to me, but, it is pretty insane.
Yeah, well,
when you have somebody threaten your children, what's your first instinct? You're ready to go to war. You are ready to go to war. You are ready to compromise your morals and kill if that's what's necessary to protect your children. So when you have somebody show up with a clipboard and an attitude, and they say, do what I say or I'll take your kids away, and I'll have 2 armed sheriff's deputies make it happen. You got to decide, do you want to go all full retard, or do you want to just swallow everything, shut up, comply, and pray that they don't decide that today's the day they want to take out their frustration on you? Because those are your children. That's why if they came to my house to get my guns, and they're pointing guns at my kids, I'm probably going to give up my guns, because I do not want anything to happen to my children. And, you could say, oh, well, that won't happen. That won't happen. There was a police raid on a drug house a couple years ago. I don't know. It was on the Detroit border. And they busted in the middle of the night, and they went right into the bay window of the frickin' living room. And the guy stepped over a couch, had an ND, and killed a 7-year-old girl sleeping on the couch. They had a bunch of people sleeping in the house, and their intel didn't tell them that there were all these people in this house. They were just there for the drugs and guns. And they did get the drugs, and they did get the guns, and they did get the couple bad guys they had warrants for. But in the process, they killed a 7-year-old girl by accident. So don't tell me that they won't come in there, and there's a chance something could happen.
And when
it comes to my kids, I got to put them first.
And let's be realistic. They could get the wrong address and go into the wrong house,
which has happened. They killed the one dude. I've read a report where they killed the dude's dog and then shot him, and the dude was so pissed. I read another report where this guy was a drug dealer, and he paid a forensics guy to try to prove that he did not kill 2 police officers. And the forensics guy actually proved through what they had and found 40 caliber bullets in the wall, and the drug dealer had a 9mm, proved that the cops killed the other cops during the raid. But obviously that's not getting overturned anyways. But I mean,
And
that's
let me
just-
say, too, that I'm not saying that all cops are like this.
no,
They're not.
absolutely not.
But the problem is, the ones who have done it, and the ones that will do it again, are the ones that give all cops a bad name. And as somebody who's not a cop, I don't have that badge. I can't. If they had my address and they were going to go raid my house, they'd be like, "Oh, hey, wait, this is one of our guys," you know. And then things would be a little bit different. Somebody says it won't. Yes, it would be. And if it was, you know, I'm on the job, or I'm waving my badge, going, "Hey, look, I'm one of you." Okay, even if I'm not in their jurisdiction, they're going to give me a lot more leeway than they are some other stranger. I'm
You're
not
gonna get less
saying,
with that DD-214.
yeah.
Saying Marine, you're gonna get a little less courtesy.
Well, you know, that's one thing. I always thought that they would be able to see that I was prior military or anything, but apparently they don't. They can't see any of that crap when they look you up, I guess, when they pull you over. But the whole thing with that is, I understand that there are lots of good law enforcement out there. There are people out there that risk their lives every day to protect us, that really do take their job seriously, and they're damn good at what they do, and they've got the right job for who they are. Don't think I have not considered going into law enforcement on more than one occasion. But it's just the ones that do the bad job are the ones that get the publicity. And the same thing in our community. The people that commit the crimes, we get painted with the same brush, even though we're not criminals. But because they use the same tool as us, oh, we all must be bad. And so I get it from that standpoint. But the whole thing is, I just can't take any risks when it comes to my family.
Yeah, which is understandable.
Yeah, we're supposed to be talking about toxic masculinity stuff, but we're talking about Second Amendment stuff.
Well,
so-
no, I mean
well,
that's it right there. The lady threatening his ass. Like how toxic is his masculinity when she's threatened him every time, threatened him right in his doorway.
My masculinity said to do bad things because I'm a protector. I'm the hunter-gatherer. I'm the protector. I'm the leader. I'm all these things because I'm masculine. Toxic or not, that's what I am. That's who I am. That's what God made me. And my wife wants a man like that. However, I had to, as the leader, take the role of the person who's going to back down, put some of my testosterone in check, and despite the fact that I want to do bad things because they threaten my children, I'm going to comply in the hopes.
You know what hill to die on. You know
Right.
that's not a hill to
That's
die
it.
on.
Yes, sir. Thank you for putting it that way. Yes. But now, in the same sense, you know,
But the
how would
bottom
my wife had reacted if I wasn't home? I don't know. I don't know if she would have gone off or if she would have complied too. I really don't. She probably would have complied. But, you know, as much as a man can be aggressive, a woman can be hysterical. There are just differences in how we're built. It doesn't mean one is better than the other, any of that stuff. That's why this whole toxic masculinity thing makes me sick, is where they think that because we are the way we are, we're bad, we're evil, we're wrong. And if we don't start acting like women, we're not going to be right. It's like, no, women are the way they are for one reason, and men are the way they are for another. And that's why men and women are attracted to each other, you know, except for some people. You know, I mean, that's, you know, if we were all the same, I'm sorry, you guys just don't do it for me. I wouldn't want to see your hairy ass in the shower and go, oh man, I gotta have that. I'm sorry, it just doesn't
Good luck.
work.
You're not ever gonna see my hairy ass in the shower, motherfucker.
You know, but it's just, I just, the toxic masculinity thing, I really don't like it. I did a video on it, and I put it out today, and there are two other people that recently released videos. Deuce and Guns did a toxic masculinity one, but really it was about Gillette, and he was showing how to use a safety razor, which is what I learned to shave on. So he says that, you know, it lasts a long time and it works just fine. But I gotta tell you, I cut the shit out of my face with one of those. But and then there's another YouTuber, Mr. Big Kid. He did an awesome video on toxic masculinity and Gillette razors. I recommend anybody out there go tune in, Mr. Big Kid. It was a great video. But, you know, toxic masculinity is more than just Gillette. But when I record the first part of the voiceover for the video I released today. It was after listening to an interview on the radio. I was driving around. I was listening to the AM radio, and one of the local conservative talk guys on the AM radio had a woman who, I believe she was in New York City at a consulting firm for advertisement or something, but she's a University of Michigan graduate, and that's why he had her on. And she was saying she didn't have a problem with the commercial. She thought that the commercial was good. She thought it was, how did she put it, like, it wasn't well received, it wasn't well understood, but it was a good commercial and it had a good message and you could hear the guy, he was about choking on the other end of the mic because you know he wanted to say something, but he didn't. And it's just like, okay, if all the feminists think that this is a good thing, that's great. Gillette's not selling razor blades to women. So why would they do this?
Wait, don't they? I mean, to shave their legs and
they got but that was a commercial with guys though. I mean, yeah, they do have the Venus or whatever it is.
They sure as hell love to charge women more money for pink razors. But
isn't that something?
Vanessa asked, hysterical? Do you think anger is hysterical? That's what Vanessa Katie said, but I responded with, I think your response would be calm with a cocked and locked Coonan to help you do the talking.
When somebody says we're going to take your kids away from you with the help of the sheriff's department, you might get mad.
Yeah, I might say
might get hysterical, or you might,
I'd probably say you're gonna need more than 2 sheriffs, bitch, and slam the door in her face. You better call SWAT and slam the door.
Well, that's the thing, though. That's the thing, though. They would have come back with SWAT. So you can't. You would have
been gone by the time. Well, if you could have been gone by the time they got back, but.
Now we're fleeing. Now we're. Yeah, there'll be warrants. But the whole thing is that
they haven't arrested you.
because I'm on the run. That's brilliant. That's exactly what I want. No, that's not. That's the whole thing, and I shouldn't have to be worried about it. I shouldn't have to live all because my ex-wife is mad, and before somebody goes out there and goes, oh, it's because you treated your ex-wife bad, and you divorced her because you were a cheating piece of shit. No, it was the other way around. For those of you out there who want to judge me ahead of time, I never did anything to my ex-wives. They're the ones that cheated to me, lied to me, and abused me, all right? And I took a lot of crap. I took a whole lot of crap. Just because there's lots of lying, cheating men out there, just because there's a lot of men out there that cheat on their wives and beat their wives and they lay on the couch while their wives work and all that, I am not that sort of man. Do not ever accuse me of that. There's a reason why my wife is with me. She wanted a good man.
On the whole thing with red flag laws, the point is you have to fight this stuff now before they get enacted, because if you wait for the cops to show up at your door, you've already lost. Okay? So you have to be proactive by either fighting the law or just moving from the address they have for you, if you can. Or I mean, if you wait till there's like the tactical squad at your door, you won't win that fight. I mean, you may take some of them with you, but you aren't going to win. You may take all of them with you, but there's more where those guys came from.
What will happen when it's in a city, not out in the country like that Ruby Ridge or nothing, where it's in the city and somebody does shoot back and the SWAT team goes in there and they waste them? Are they going to ask for stronger, stricter laws then? Or are people going to go, holy crap, it's on? I mean, as law enforcement, they need to start thinking about what they're doing. I realize they have a job to do, and in their eyes, they don't know who the good guys are and who the bad. I understand that. There's got to be a way. There has got to be a way for them to do this without escalating it, because otherwise there's going to be people on both sides dead. And at a certain point, if it happens enough and gets on the news enough, then everybody's going to be, like you said, if a cop shows up at their door.
They don't cover the news on the news. I mean, you think they're covering the riots?
You think if a SWAT team?
Riots in France? You think they're covering the riots in France? You have tens of thousands of people on the streets. The news channels are not covering it. They're afraid to fucking cover it. You can only see it on the fucking internet.
If you don't think that they're not going to cover the SWAT team coming into a major city and shooting a guy and turning the house to Swiss cheese.
They won't.
Oh, come on.
The police will tell them not to. the mayor will call the news office and say, "Don't put this shit on the air."
Well, I don't know. All I'm saying is, I don't want anybody to die on either side. But that is a possibility.
We're one
no,
country.
there will be. No, because they will. They will divide us. We're
already divided. In case you haven't noticed, look around.
Well, yeah. Yeah, there is some. But I'm saying they'll have it. I mean, to some extent, with law enforcement, there is an us versus them mentality. And that is not good for public relations. That's why people don't trust cops. If they got rid of that us versus them, but that's been around for a long time, and it's not like you can just make it go away overnight. But I'm just saying, I'd like to see something where we can de-escalate this. I'd say everybody move out of the state you're in if they've already got a red flag law and go to a free state, but they're going to do it at a federal level at some point.
Yeah, Rubio proposed the federal red flag law, which was basically treasonous. I mean, this is all red flag laws are death warrants, and they're just asking for a revolution. You know, if you won't know about it on the evening news. I mean, you might eventually hear dribs and drabs over the internet, I mean, when you see smoke rising around your city, that's what then you'll know. When you
the redcoats were going house to house looking for guns. They wanted to disarm the colonists so they could not rebel. And when they got advance notice that the redcoats were coming into town, they would get all the guns and take them out of town and bury them, wait for the redcoats to leave. They found nothing, and then they'd go dig them up, and they'd have their guns again. All right? That's kind of what we're probably going to have to do. But if they've got gun registration and they go, all right, you're supposed to have 10 guns. We only see 2 here. Where are the other 8? What the fuck are you supposed to do?
Boating accidents.
Yeah. Boating accidents.
Well, so a way I've staged this, which is not going to work in my state because then you never reported them and they're all registered. But what happens is the way I try to frame it for people to understand is I kind of like remove. Because I was talking with someone who does not really value guns. She's from Oklahoma. She moved here. She's a social worker. So, but she doesn't. She's like a huge Bernie fan. And the way I said it to her was, I was like, listen, someone can on a whim who doesn't like you can call, and then the cops will show up at your house and seize property when there's not even a suspicion of a crime. There is no suspicion of a crime has been committed. They legally, without you going in front of a judge, can seize your property, and then you have to try to get it back later. And I was like, that is not due process. And when you frame it that way, it's kind of like a red alert, like, oh no, wait a minute. That does sound really bad.
Yeah, obviously, at one point, the British ran into Lexington, and there was some shots fired at Lexington, and by the time they got to Concord, everybody knew that they were coming, and they were all waiting in the bushes for them. And then they chased the redcoats all the way back to Boston, and they didn't. they ran to run for their lives.
So the next Lexington and Concord will be when they go to serve a red flag. That's BS, and the guy says, "Not here, not today," and they come back with the SWAT team, and there's a big firefight. The SWAT team
gets blown away.
No, not the SWAT team gets blown away. You have a couple neighbors jump in, and now you start having other people come in, and there'll be a time and a place somewhere where people will see what's going on, and they'll go and they'll fight the cops on this guy's behalf, and that'll be the next Lexington and Concord. And I don't want to see nothing happen to our law enforcement. They're just there doing their job. Like I said, they don't know who the good guys are. All they have is a piece of paper and an order to do it. And if they don't do it, they'll fire them, they'll lose their pension, and somebody else will end up getting the order. So I'm not saying it's right, but what I'm saying is if something like this starts to gain momentum and it starts getting ugly, there will be people that will go, I'm not letting this happen to my neighbor. I'm not letting this happen to my brother. I'm not letting this happen to my son, whatever it is. And they're going to, and we outnumber them. But until it becomes chronic, where when people see this start to happen, when they see the vehicle start to roll down the street, they know somebody's getting hit. You know.
Yeah, and at some point, when enough brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers have gotten shot by the state, the people are going to just go after anybody that represents the state or anything that represents the state, and that's called a revolution. And there's there's no nice way to do a revolution.
Nope.
That's the problems with the problem with the Yellow Jackets in France is it's a peaceful revolution. There ain't no such thing. Revolutions are violent. People
they shot that
killed.
Dude in the back of the head with the beanbag gun or something.
A beanbag. Until people are, if the French rioters were willing to go and they showed up in Paris and all they wanted to do was kill the fucking police, that Macron would be out of office. But they don't feel that way. They just want him to resign. They want him to peacefully resign. Just get the fuck out of office. That's not how it's done. Sorry, he's not going nowhere unless you show up. I'm not saying they should do that, but I'm just observing what they are and are not doing. I watched some of the videos of in Paris, France. I didn't post them or anything, but the most violence I saw was a bunch of the protesters in Paris attacked the traffic light. And it took, first they tried for 5 minutes to pull it down, and they couldn't. And then after an hour, they finally got this light down, and there was a big cheer in the crowd. I thought somebody did something. No, there was just a traffic light that on the ground, and that was that's not very violent. So,
yeah, and it's also really stupid because their tax dollars pay to fix it. Idiots.
It's just I'm not. So maybe it's because people in France don't want to fight the police because the police have the guns and they don't. But I mean, there's a lot more of those protesters than there are police most of the time. So it's just a question of they're not motivated to do a revolution. So I would say, the day that they motivate the people of America to do a revolution against the government, that would be a pretty tragic day. But so the first step is red flag gun laws. So I would be against any red flag gun laws because I don't want to see I kind of like it the way it is, more or less. There's a lot of stuff I don't like, but what I like a lot to pull a line.
Yeah, I don't want to see it either. I don't.
But we don't have if Kamala Harris becomes the next president of the United States, could happen. They'll sign the assault weapons ban. They'll sign national red flag laws, and you know what was really obnoxious about some of the red flag laws that they pass is that if you go and buy ammunition or a firearm, that's enough grounds to issue a red flag because you went out and bought some ammunition. It's like, really?
I think red flag laws and toxic masculinity are two things that they never counted on happening in this country. When I say they, I mean the founders. They never counted on crap like that.
Yeah, well, they didn't have a crystal ball. That's for sure. So I guess you just have to go on being who you are and hope it all works out okay. It's like, I had 7 police with guns ready to go at my door, and it all worked out okay. They figured out that I wasn't violent or I wasn't doing anything wrong because they weren't stupid. I mean, they didn't believe a word I said, but until the next day. But they didn't rush me or anything. They just talked to me. The word I would use is they rousted me, but they didn't enter or even ask for permission to come in or anything. They just talked to me. They wanted to know if anybody else was in here besides me. I said, no. Who's you got a report of violence? Did you hear any noise when you're coming up the stairs? Like, no, there's nobody else here for me to be violent against. All I was doing was watching Law and Order. I had all these cops show up.
And that's just it. All we want to do is live in peace. We're not the bad guys. Go mess with the bad guys. There's tons of them out there. Why don't you go mess with them? I'm going to go sit here and watch Law and Order.
Yeah, in Law and Order, at least they need like probable cause before they break into your house and roust you. But that's a TV show. In real life, they just threaten to steal your children, I guess. You know.
Yeah. Well, for somebody who doesn't have kids, they probably don't understand. For somebody who's never had something like that happen, they probably don't understand. For somebody out there who thinks that gun owners are just waiting for their day to do something evil, they don't understand. For people that say, well, I don't have guns, it's not my problem, they don't understand. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of, you haven't walked a mile in my shoes kind of stuff out there. I'm insulted that there could be a time where somebody at work who doesn't like me could call and have the cops come get me, or somebody in my family who I've had a disagreement with could call the cops and have them come get me, or I could even have somebody, maybe I tell somebody I'm not going to loan them money anymore because they're always coming to me for money or something, so they decide, all right, I'll get you. Or, what else? I mean, the list can go on and on over petty things. Look at what people do on Facebook to each other.
I don't use Facebook.
Well, on Facebook, people can go ahead and they can badmouth you and say all these things and start rumors and do this and do that. And lots of families are broken up and divided because of Facebook crap.
Oh, yeah. Did you see how many people, if you just go to the Occupy Democrats thread of that kid who's wearing the MAGA hat doing the stare, there's so many people posting names, emails, addresses, colleges, saying call this college up and demand that this person doesn't go here. And then there's other people like down below in the comments being like, that kid is just a white kid that looks like the other kid. You're going to ruin this kid's life.
Yeah.
And people are like, so?
Yeah.
Like,
they don't.
Well, he's
yeah,
white,
until it
so.
happened to them. But because it hasn't happened to them, they don't have any. Yeah. And so if you can do that on Facebook and there's no penalty, then what's to stop somebody from with the same attitude of doing that with the red flag? Think about it. You and another guy are going for the manager job, and you're the better candidate, so they pick you. The other guy's mad as hell. He knows how to get rid of your ass. He knows that if the cops come knocking on your door and demand your guns, you might give it to them one bullet at a time. So he'll call the cops. Next thing you know, they're at your door. Even if not, you're out all your shit. You know exactly who did it, but you don't care.
I know dubbing directors who would have gladly who yelled at me in different languages for years, who would gladly have called, or would probably still gladly call up and demand a red flag order on me if they knew where I was living.
Well, yeah, I mean,
just because we argued about something 10 years ago.
Well, just look at the amount of swatting that's happened over the years, and it became real popular for a while when people were live streaming. There were live stream games. It was real popular for the police to come in, and a lot of like larger urban area
if you're in like an arena contest, if you're playing Warcraft in the arenas, and there's and you know where your opponent lives, then you could win your arena match by having the SWAT raid their house.
Yeah, and what happens is a lot of the times the cops are like, well, wait a minute, you're playing a game, nothing's going on here. And then they go, how long have you been playing this game for? And you go, well, I've been live streaming for like 8 hours. And they're like, oh, so we can go back and watch the footage and see that you've been here.
They could punch it up in the computer. I've been playing this game constantly for 47 hours straight without a break. Oh. And they'll see all these empty coffee cups and half-eaten frozen dinners and shit all over the place.
Yeah, and then
those are addictive games.
And then you can see people laughing in the comments and stuff, and they're like, in some of the videos, the cops are like, they're laughing at us. Like, oh, well, let's leave then. I mean, it was kind of funny. One of them was even in England. I think they said he had guns or whatever and was going to shoot up people. And
but that's what happened to me. Is like that lady downstairs was being used by some people who didn't like me, so they said, okay, why don't you? We had a conflict over the roof. I collected signatures to get rid of the board, and so this crazy lady is saying This guy is making all kinds of noise upstairs. They told her, one of the lawyer peep guys said, "Well, keep a log, and then you could use the log against him and show it to the police." And so they tried to swat me using her, but they just didn't realize they were using an insane person to swat me. If we have red flag gun laws in Hawaii, they could just call them up, because we disagreed over a roofing contract 15 years ago.
Now, one crazy thing is if the cop, I don't know how it is in your state, but if the cops show up enough, even if it's the bogus reasons, you can still kind of push the landlord to evict them. If there's like a log of steady times police show up every week or two, there's cops showing up, even if they're all bogus claims, a third-party tenant could complain in my state and maybe get that person removed.
Well, I was pretty much at the point where I was ready to sue the owners of the downstairs unit.
Well, that's what happened with my third floors. The old third floor of my building. The cops would come every other day, and I didn't know I could do anything about it. And then I was the cops started every time I seen a cop in town, they were like, "Oh, 18 Lovett Street." They knew where I fucking lived. It was what?
Yeah, it was probably fortunate for me that I had known one of the police that showed up at my house from a couple of traffic incidents before, because he knew me well enough to know that I didn't like him, but I wasn't violent or anything, and so he just didn't believe, he just he was in charge of the second tactical squad or something that showed up. But that didn't stop the other 7 from showing up after. It was just, he basically he had his hands in that tactical position, when he knocked on my door and he saw it was me, he knew me. So he was
it's good he didn't kill you, but that's just.
Well, he wouldn't have done it. There was 6 or guys with him who were ready to.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous that, yeah, I'd be worried about it because, there's obviously people just like that in everybody's life. At least, I don't know about squibs, but there is people, in my family and stuff who don't think anybody should own guns at all, and will use any tool they can because they, some of these people honestly believe they'll make you safer and make everyone else safer if nobody has any means to protect themselves. Which I think I always harp on this, and it gets old hearing it, but I think it's all about, personal responsibility. These people think that the government should be providing all these responsibilities to you.
It's not the people that it's not the citizens of the United States of America who own guns that you need to be afraid of. It's the government. It's the government with too much power that you need to be afraid of.
Well, see, what they do is a lot of the people use that French, the French postmodernism, and they say that, no, it's not the government we need to be worried about. It's white people with white privilege that own guns. Those are the people we need to be worried about. And it's well, wait a minute. Who's the person, what group has been the most racist against anybody who wasn't white in this country? And it's the government. The government has always been the one, for the most part, who's done the craziest shit. And now they're just trying to say, well, no, that's not the government. It's not the government that's going to be racist. It's just people. And it's no. The government does it. You get what I'm getting at, right? You've heard about that.
Unchecked government power is the threat. It always has been. That's why this nation was founded, because of unchecked government power of a monarch. And so
the people in UK still pay taxes to those people, which just blows me away. They pay.
Well, they have their own problem. They're paying taxes to the people in Brussels now, and they have their own problems about that. They're indentured to the EU, which is failing. By the way, if you're
overweight, and a smoker, you still can't get surgeries. The last time I checked, the last articles I read, you are still denied elective surgeries. I might have been more than elective surgeries, but if you were a smoker or a fatty, you're effed.
Know.
Now my thing is though, but you still have to pay taxes because that whole thing they harp on is while being healthy is your civic duty. And it's like, whoa, man, I don't want to live in a place where, I mean, but I don't know. I was researching tax rates, and I didn't do a video on this, but it looks like the U. I mean, we get taxed unbelievable. If you look at tax rates in the U.S. versus other countries, I mean, we're right. The UK, I believe, and now this doesn't cover every tax, but they get taxed less. The data I looked at on Wikipedia shows that they get taxed less than us. The average UK citizen gets taxed less than the average American citizen, which is just crazy.
The problem is that the people who are in government think that if they raise more taxes, they'll collect more money. But Trump just proved the opposite. He cut taxes and they raised more money because, if right now, if the velocity of money it's faster than it was, but it's not moving very fast. People aren't buying stuff at a rate, and if they're just taxed to hell, they will just do anything to avoid taxes. It's and if taxes go down, then people are more likely to spend money and stimulate the economy. But I'm not going to get into the national debt and $22 trillion and servicing that because that's. I don't know what the hell that is, but it's just a disaster waiting to happen.
That's why I pretty much became a full-blown libertarian now, because my party, the party before, neither of those other parties are conservative, at least in my area, and what looks like most part on the federal level. So I want to be a part of a party that's conservative, and I also want to be a part of a party that is wants people to have individual liberties. But
you know what, Jared? When you say you're conservative, it's almost like it's a dirty word. Like being masculine is a dirty word. We've been made to feel ashamed of how we were raised or what we believe, or even if we weren't raised that way and we changed our mind because we saw things I'm not here to say that you can't be liberal. You want to be liberal? Be liberal. The problem I've got is because of the way liberals act, they feel that they have to control you. Conservatives, there are some conservatives that are so right-wing, they're practically left-wing, that they're almost liberal themselves. Don't ever tell an ultra conservative that they're really acting like a liberal. They'll lose their shit. And I don't like that, because you're being a hypocrite. You're actually going against the thing that you say you're against. That's one of my biggest problems with liberals. It isn't that they're a bunch of socialists and bleeding hearts and they don't care about facts. They only care about feeling stuff. Yeah, that stuff annoys me. But it's the whole we're going to tell you how to live your life thing. Conservatism is about letting you make your own choices so that you put more money into the economy, so that you live the American dream. But it's almost turned into a dirty word, and I don't like that.
It's like when I was at the pub and that blonde lady was like trying to like Trump shame me or something, and I was just like, yeah, I voted for the guy, I like him, and she was just like, like that's an evil, dirty. He's an evil, dirty man. It's like, well, I voted for him once, I'm voting for him again, and I mean, and it's like the other candidates suck. I don't agree with like a lot of stuff Trump has done, but like some of his current attorney general nomination, I don't know. He's still the best man for the job out there as far as running the country right now. I mean, if there was somebody better came along, I'd vote for them. But it's certainly not going to be Kamala Harris or Tulsi Gabbard or any of those people. So I was telling Scribner the pre-chat, it's like I really wanted to spank this lady, just put her over my knee and spank her. Maybe she marched in the Women's March or something, but I just wanted to put her over my knee and spank her, and that would have been super toxic masculinity. But I didn't because I was just so drunk. I wasn't by that time. I watched both football games at a pub yesterday. So, and I drank my way. Yeah, I had 2 meals. I had lunch and dinner, and I drank my way through both games. And I haven't really even watched football in like 2 or 3 years, at all. So I haven't even watched college football. So, but I figured the game was going to be on in the pub, whether I was there or not. I didn't watch it at my house. I just watched it at the pub. So, and I was supporting a local business. I wasn't really supporting football just by watching the championship game at the pub. And they had good food there. So it's a corner pub. I can walk there, have drinks, and walk back and not have to worry about driving or anything like that.
That's good. I mean, my point is about just, I don't believe anybody's conservative right now or really care, you didn't want to get into the national debt, but I mean, I feel like we need somebody. Yeah, whatever.
If I start talking about the national debt, I'll start talking about cryptos because and you know how that is. If you want to tell me cryptos suck compared to the U.S. dollar, fine. Now you want to tell me cryptos suck compared to the bolivar in Venezuela? No, man. Yeah, I mean, right now, $1 buys 3 million bolivars in Venezuela. You know how much Bitcoin held its value compared to the bolivar? It's skyrocketing. If you were in cryptos in Venezuela, it's like the only way you can conduct business. I sent Squib a video about the Dash. The Dash is one of my favorite cryptos. I get paid out in that every day, and from my Genesis mining accounts, but it's not much.
Did you see that they paid the food stamps out? Did you know that they double paid the food stamps?
They double paid the January payment because they won't be able to pay in February, and it'll all be gone before March. And I was saying there might be food riots by March, but they're food riots.
You know why they did that, right? Because
50% of the people in Hawaii are on SNAP.
Do you know how crazy that would be? Like, let's talk about just in the DC area alone. Like, yeah, there's really rich people there, but the people in Maryland, man, I don't know if I'd say I don't wish ill will on anybody, but man, that would be very entertaining. It'd be like the full on apocalypse, man. Those White House guards. Those White House guards with MP5s wouldn't have enough ammo, man. They would need to have Mark 19s set up on Humvees or in towers around the White House.
They can call them in a moment's notice. But I mean, I'm sure they could call in gunships if they need them at the White House. But
if that does come to it, man, these people, like they are just. I know. I mean, it's like it's. I was waiting for something to happen because they can't have these people knocking at their door. Because I don't want to talk down because I know a lot of people or whatever, but like a lot of these people who are on this type of stuff like have nothing to lose. I mean. And those, I think, are some of the, can be a lot more dangerous. I mean, not necessarily, but I'm very much generalizing. But you guys get what I'm saying, right? They would have some serious fucking problems on their hands.
Yeah, and in Hawaii, it's like there's companies that make a living by qualifying people for food stamps and getting them on, and they somehow get paid by the government for finding food stamp recipients for them. And so, like half of the people in the state are on food stamps. So half of the people all of a sudden run out of money for food and they can't buy food. What do they think is going to happen?
I understand the food is so, because of the Jones Act, the food is so freaking expensive in Hawaii. No wonder why half the people are on. The government's effing itself.
Yeah, they don't know what they're doing.
It's totally an effing.
And that's the whole thing they're talking about. I saw something on Fox about sports gambling, and like Illinois wants that there's $7 billion in debt for one state, and they want to do sports. They want to tax betting on the Super Bowl or something, and maybe make $50 million. Well, that won't put a dent in a $7 billion state.
And that money will all disappear anyways. It's just going to go into studies. They got to do a bunch of feasibility studies after they get the money, and then the money's gone. I mean, I think a problem that a lot of people don't care, because people just don't care. But I think most of the corruption is all on the lowest level politicians. And I'm not talking shit about all of them, but I think there's some crazy corruption that goes on, and nobody cares. People just don't. People will go and stand in the street and march up and down and go nuts over Trump and hoot and holler. But when it comes to, really greasy local politicians, they won't even, talk to people about it.
I did a video of our mayor in the Big Island of Hawaii that when he used the government credit card that he had to hire hookers, basically, it was in Honolulu, and he put him on the government credit card, and they took him to court, but he beat the rap. It was like, and we never did figure out the name of he wouldn't reveal the name of the girls that he hired. I thought, they're state employees and they should get health benefits.
What was
Mayor Kanoi?
They were probably Mahus, right?
They were. I don't know. They were Korean. They worked at the Evergreen Hostess Lounge in Honolulu.
It's scary, man. I probably wouldn't do that anyways, but I could never some of those you can't tell the difference, and you don't want to roll the dice on something like that. I don't know. I mean, I'm not homophobic or anything, but man, that is just, no surprises.
Oh no, the girls at those bars, you can tell that they're girls. The one, at least the ones. The one time I was in that bar, I wasn't in the Evergreen. I was in a different one, but there's one area in town on Kapiolani Street where all the Korean Hostess bars are.
Yeah, those are pretty good, man.
They were girls. I just went in there and ordered drinks, but the girls there, they were girls. they were all pros from Korea. They were professionals from Korea. They weren't amateurs, I promise.
They didn't give us the professionals. They must have smelled that we were lower enlisted.
Yeah, I had some time to kill. The taxi driver dropped me off there because I had some time to kill between flights. So I spent some time there and just watched football and drank at the bar. The girls were girls. There weren't any.
If you know what service you're paying for, which is a host or a hostess, it's not a bad service. If you're a loser, I don't know. I can't even.
The girls were beautiful. I mean,
yeah. Well, not everyone. The one time we went there.
Well, which bar did you go to?
We went to Butterflies.
In Honolulu, I never heard of that place. Well, there's some dive places. But
it was on one of the back streets. They had karaoke.
Every bar in Hawaii has karaoke.
Yeah.
That doesn't narrow it down.
We used to go drinking at this one place that was really cool, and we always went on like off nights. I have photos on my phone. I took my mom there, and when she came to visit, and it was this like great bar, and my buddy came up from Boston. He lives in LA now, but he comes up from Boston, and I
thought you were talking about bars in Hawaii. You're talking about bars in Boston?
No, we're talking about bars in Hawaii. My buddy came up from Boston, and there's this bar that we went to a couple times, and it was like, because our favorite bar closed down. It was on the North Shore. It was called Kainoa's. Best friggin' bar. It was almost right across the street from the Blazer bar or a Buzzard bar. I forget what it was. Whatever. So this is really great bar, and they closed down, and we started looking for new bars with karaoke, and
there's topless bars in Honolulu if you're into that thing, but
but we ended up at this bar, and it was like this seemed like this really cool bar, small, best karaoke system I've seen in Hawaii. You could use your phone to purchase the next song, and my buddy comes, and we go on a weekend when my buddy Paul comes. Right, and we go there, and we're hanging out, and we're drinking, and there's lots of cute girls in there. And then, like, an hour goes by, and like, there's not really any girls in there, and we're not really sure who's a girl anymore. Paul's like, I'm getting the F out of here, dude. I'll see you in the street. And he left, and then me and Hurlbert, my battle buddy, were drinking, and we're like, dude, we don't care who the hell's in here. We're gonna sing our freaking songs before we leave. Like we paid $1 a piece for these songs. We're not going anywhere.
I promise the girls will charge you more than that. I mean, they'll probably start you off they'll let you take them home for $5,000 or something. But by like 2 a.m, they'll let you take them home for like $250.
Well, so we didn't know this was a gay and lesbian bar. We had because we had only been in there like during weird times during the week. So we were in there. Well, one time we were in there was a retired service member with his wife in there. So we were like, oh, whatever. And the other time there was like some girls and some guys in there. So we were like, yeah, whatever. Who cares? But then we ended up finding out. We never went back to that bar. Or no, we did because my mom came back. We did go back.
Wait, you didn't take your mom to this bar?
I did, yeah. It's a great bar, and if you catch on the right night, it's literally like a small kitchen. It's not a kitchen, but it's like the size of
Now,
a
the bar
small
I go to
kitchen.
nowadays, I just go there because it's on the corner, and they have good food. They have good cook. So
So
This place,
Rupan was at
yeah.
the Blue Oyster.
No, man. Oh, we walked into a bar, so we started searching for karaoke bars, and there's this one bar called Blue Something, and we started to walk in there with a couple Joes, and before I even got in the bar, everybody just did an about face and started walking the other way, and I was like, What's wrong? What's wrong?" Like, well, there's a dude dancing in his tighty whities on a table. We're not going in there. I think that bar was the Blue Oyster, but this bar was like, I mean, it was literally like a side
well,
room.
I think the key is I had a taxi driver drop me off at a bar, and at least they know the town. Okay, so he dropped me off. He could tell I was straight, and he dropped me off at a bar where there was girls. And it was. I'm sure he got some. He had some deal with the bar too, but I didn't really care. I just was there and had drinks, but the girls were beautiful. I mean, and they were all pros. So it's like whatever. I looked at them, but I was watching football and drinking beer, and that was pretty much
Now,
it.
there were some real good bars on the Strip, and they had two of them had Irish names. Not like on the Strip, but right close to the Strip. Oh man, in
Which
Honolulu,
strip are you talking about in Honolulu?
the two main streets there in Honolulu. What is it? Either way, maybe it was. I forget exactly where it was, but anyways, there was two Irish pubs, and I could probably just look it up. Those places were great because they let you smoke. That was the best. You can smoke in a bar, maybe feel so
yeah,
good.
it's against the law now for them to do that. But what year was this? So
2010 to 2012.
Oh well, there've been no smoking laws, so they're breaking the law. But if you're gonna like employ like prostitutes, then like violating the smoking laws isn't like that big of a deal. I mean,
Kelly O'Neill's, that was my favorite one, and we used to go to O'Toole's if the band at Kelly O'Neill's was shitty.
You know, I get to see all the pretty girls I want if I was in Honolulu, just looking at the girls surfing, walking up and down the Ala Moana beach park. And there's plenty of pretty girls in tight bikinis and on surfboards, and or just on the beach.
Yeah, this place is right off of Kalakaua Ave.
Kalakaua. Yeah, unfortunately, I spend most of my time in Honolulu at like the Kabad House. So, although one of the guys there was one like there was one like psychedelic Kabad guy who wanted me to take him to like the topless bar across the street, and I was like, you know, I'm not gonna. He said, "Why don't you just come in and buy me a few drinks?" Like, you go in and buy your own drinks. I'm not buying you drinks, and that's how they make money in those places. And I'm not setting one foot in there, you know. So I was pretty much a good boy when I was in Honolulu. There was one time when I was I went into that place because taxi driver dropped me off, and I had a few hours to kill in between flights, and I just sat there and watched football and drank beer. So.
That's cool. Yeah, I still when I see Hawaiian names, I usually pronounce them kind of like Japanese because it's just what I learned there. Because some of them looks kind of like.
I live here, so I kind of usually get the pronunciations right.
Oh yeah,
like Kalanianioli or Kalakaua or Kapiolani. Keiki means children.
Well, in Japanese, keiki means cake.
In Hawaiian, it means children.
I know, which is silly. So it's obviously different, but that's how I usually see stuff. I still can't pronounce, what is it? Vahaiava, or how do they pronounce Wahaiwa?
What, Mahimi?
No, the place right outside of Schofield Barracks. What is it, Wahaiwa? I always forget.
You're mispronouncing it so bad, I can't tell.
Well, I mean, if it were Japanese, it'd be Wahiawa, but they like... I don't know,
Wahiawa.
whatever. But like the last W, the W's that are kind of like not like W's, they're pronounced
They're
kind of like
V's.
V's.
Yeah, Hawaii
so I can't
with a V. Hawaii with a V. People pronounce
Vahiva
it
or
like
some crap. I don't know.
it doesn't matter if people from 1800 showed up who spoke Hawaiian and listen to how they teach Hawaiian now at the U of H, they wouldn't understand it at all. It's just the accents are all wrong. I talked about the accents in the pre-chat, but we won't get into that. My life was crazier at my recording studio with the girls there in between when I was mixing films in between Real Changes than I ever was anywhere in Honolulu. So, but then I'm not the mayor and I don't have a government credit card to hire hookers with. But
yeah, I still, I will still say, I had driving in Hawaii was awesome compared to the Northeast where I am.
You're driving through Honolulu on the same streets. There are potholes everywhere. It's like the worst streets ever.
Well, no, it's not the potholes, but the streets are way worse here. But probably Squib probably has all of us beat. But I mean, one thing is like the drive. How even in like crazy traffic, people aren't as much of dicks when it comes to driving out there. Where here, it's like the battle is on, bro. Like you're driving in some areas around here.
The problem is that
normal.
So many when the real estate boom happened and a lot of people from California moved to Hawaii, the driving situation got worse because they weren't like Hawaiians anymore. I mean, when I first got here, if you got to a 4-way stop, that it would be like everybody would be, you go first. No, you go first. No, you go first. No, you go first. No, you go first. And it's not like that anymore. But in the mainland, it's like the guy with the fastest car just guns it, and everybody else can, is fucked. And it's like a rat race. You have to get ahead of the other guys somehow. But when all those people moved here, it got worse. You can tell when somebody from the mainland is moved to Hawaii because they have no idea how to drive on a wet, dangerous 1-lane highway with a sheer precipice, like 500 feet straight down, and they drive like it's the 101 freeway at rush hour.
Yeah, but I mean, I will say overall the mood of driving is more laid back, which is nicer than around here, man.
The whole island is more laid back.
People are ready to cut your throat if you don't hit the throttle as hard as you possibly can, and when the light turns green within a millisecond, people get all bent out of shape and want to kill you.
In 2017, we went to New York City for the first time, and we took the Chevy, and we went in the tunnel, waiting that long ass line to pay your money, go into the tunnel, and popped out, and it's a maze, but we're following the GPS to the parking structure so we can go to the Intrepid. And my wife is not exactly happy about, and we're trying to figure out why do some of these cars have these weird things on the back of their cars. And I think what it is to stop somebody from doing damage if they get rear-ended. They got these funny rubber flaps on the back. I mean, it covers the whole back of the car. They're like a metal frame with a... Oh, is it? Okay.
Because people will just, if you have to park on the street, people all the time, even in Boston, they'll just smash into you and drive away.
See, I thought it was to keep you from getting rear-ended because it was stop and go and slam on the brakes and do this and do that, and and her car it's maneuverable and it's faster than hell. So I mean, I'm not worried about start stop whatever. I'll keep up with traffic, and we went a couple blocks and she was not happy. And I could tell she was a little bit nervous about how the traffic was. And I looked over at her and I said, "Do you remember Barstow?" She calmed right down. Because we were in a traffic jam on I-15 outside of Barstow, and I went into town to get around the traffic jam and popped out on I-15 on the other side. And I did things in her car that she did not know I knew how to do in a car. And I said, "Honey, I lived a life before I met you." I said, "There are things that I did when I was younger that you would not believe." I did some stunts with her and the kids in the car. The car could do it. Let me tell you, that turbo, that thing will go. I haven't raced a Corvette in it, but I'd like to. But and I'm not necessarily saying this because I'm happy about breaking traffic laws, but you have to do that in California in order to get through. Well, you have to do that in New York City to get through too, and that's just the way it is. I have not gone to Boston yet, but we intend to go. If it's as crazy as New York City, I'm good. I tell
What
you
was
what,
that
the worst.
scene from Die Hard when he says, I said, I didn't say by the park. I said through the park. He
Yeah,
drives
well,
through the park.
and I'd say the Beltway around DC is the worst. The Beltway is the worst. I've driven in some crazy stuff. When I got my driver's license, my dad took me to West Virginia, where those roads are narrow, and if you make a screw up, you're going down the side of a mountain. And I had a couple coal trucks almost run me off the road. And I just got my license. And I tell you what, it was like a baptism in fire. And since then, between that and trying to do what I see on NASCAR, yeah. But still, you wear out your car. I imagine, Jared, that if it ain't the potholes that get you, it's all the slamming on the brakes and having to accelerate, and you know.
Yeah, everybody's gonna try to beat you and cut you off and get around you. So yeah, you got to drive like a maniac. There's people who will people will just
Are
be in
your
the
roads
wrong
all
lanes.
iced over right now? Anyway, what is the temperature where you guys are at? Temperature check.
It's 6 right now and feels like -13.
Let me do an update. Let me see if it'll.
The wind is northwest, 19 miles per hour, which is nice. When the wind comes northeast, that's when you start getting beat up.
Yeah, see, you got a colder wind chill. I've got 3 with a -2 wind chill. So yeah. You got it coming off the ocean. I got it coming off the lake, but I'm far enough inland where it doesn't get me.
And we get hit when it comes up northeast. We get hit pretty good.
So it must be dangerous if the roads are iced over, right?
Oh yeah, my buddy can't even get out of his driveway. But it's not that bad. I mean, it's nothing we can't handle. I mean, but it just sucks. It's an extra suck.
I remember one time I was staying in Mammoth, and I just got tired of having to dig my car out of the my Camaro out of the snow because it was buried every morning when I got out. It was buried under like 2 or 3 feet of snow. So I just left it buried because I could walk to the ski lift. And I remember being stuck there because I needed to order a part in the Eastern Sierra to get my car fixed before I could drive it back to LA. And so I wound up staying there for, instead of 1 month, I had a 2-month ski vacation because it took a month to get a part into the Eastern Sierra. so I could get the thing fixed for whatever was wrong with it. But I don't like dealing with cold weather personally. That's why I live in Hawaii. I don't have to worry about it. It's 83 degrees today and it'll be 83 degrees tomorrow.
Okay, if you were at SHOT Show, it's 50 degrees right now. I miss Las Vegas. I miss Las Vegas so bad.
Well, they keep it colder in the casinos, but I'd spend all my time at the Texas Hold'em tables, so I feel most comfortable.
I mean, what sucks is our house has no insulation. It's old as hell. So it's like terrible. We got like those
Single wall.
We got the slats, and the horsehair.
Horsehair.
Yeah, the horsehair and the slats.
I don't know anything about it.
There's no insulation in the walls, I'm pretty sure. Or if there is, it's old, too old to matter. And we have the Gen 1 like polymer windows when they first like came out. What is it, early 90s? They're terrible.
In the ghetto.
Yeah, this house is just. I mean, I said to my fiance, if there's ever a gas leak or a carbon monoxide leak in this house, it's not going to kill us because the air just leaves this house.
So how do you stay? Do you have a fireplace at least?
No.
No fireplace?
There's a wall where the fireplace used to be.
They took out the fireplace.
Yeah.
This is a rental, I take it.
Yes.
I would say find a better rental.
Yeah. As soon as I graduate and I get a job, a job, I'm gone. I ain't paying for this place anymore.
Are you gone in the sense of the place you live or the state you live? You're not sure.
I would like both, but we'll see. I went to this guy's house to do some work, and he lived down in Seekonk, Mass, which is like right next to Rhode Island, and it's right next to Pawtucket. And man, this guy had like the best house I've ever seen. It was on a farm. It was in the middle of like a suburban area, and
Well,
you turned right.
I want to ask you a question. Is the state you would move to? Would you Would you base that in part on their gun laws?
Of course, yeah. We got some friends from Hawaii that live in North Carolina, and I think they have a house in South Carolina, and we kind of want to move near them. So he retired last year from the Army, so we want to go hang out with them.
I've lived in both. I'm more of a North Carolina guy, but I mean, both of them do it. They really got three different areas as far as geography. I mean, you can go to the beach if you want. You can go to the mountains if you want, and you're gonna have bugs and humidity, but it's
we get lots of bugs here. Surprisingly, we're getting more bugs.
Really?
There was bugs here this year I've never seen before. Like some beetles. I ain't never seen those beetles before.
I bet you. Were they red and black?
I don't know what they were, but I'd never seen those beetles
As long as
before
they
in my
weren't
life.
British.
I don't know what the hell they were, but I was like, where the hell did these things come from? And one of my buddies was like, I've never seen one of those before.
In Hawaii, we have the big flying beetles we have the roaches with wings that fly, and they're like about
palmetto bugs.
2 inches long or something. I don't know what the hell they're called.
Yeah, they freaking get in your car and they crawl up your legs at night. The babies do. Oh man, don't let anybody eat in your car. I made that mistake once. The dude dropped shaved beef on the floor, and we never got rid of the roaches.
Do you ever wake up with tarantulas in your hooch?
No.
Yeah,
I mean, we'll have to deal with the bugs or whatever, but I mean, I'd love to be here. I wouldn't mind going more north either, but I do. If I did, I'd have to have a driveway that was, what's that? Have you guys heard of that technology where they, the name Radiant Heat?
You could put a boiler in your garage and then run the lines underneath either the concrete or underneath brick pavers, and they would be an alcohol-based mixture, so it doesn't freeze if it shuts off. And
we did it on a tugboat. We did it on 2 tugboats, and for Boston Fuel Towing, and one of them was Independence. And man, we did it down at Director's Shipyard. It was like 5 degrees outside that day. The wind was blowing like 25 out of the northeast. And I put my foot on the deck, like I stepped to get on the tugboat, and I was like, oh my God. I felt like I was in like tropical. It was so beautiful, but I mean, yeah, Radiant Heat is, if you got the money to do it, it is amazing. It will make things a lot easier.
Well, I just don't have to deal with those kinds of problems over here, so.
No, you get bugs and mold.
Well,
and rain, random ass rain all the time. You don't have to stand in formation for hours, though. Well, volcanoes, but the rain is the worst part of it. But you're not standing outside.
I like the rain. The rain, when it rains here, it's not cold. I remember the first time I came out here, I went bicycle riding. I got caught in the rain downpour. It was like taking a warm shower in mineral water. I mean, it was salt water from the ocean, and it was pouring down. It was warm. It was like taking a warm shower. I didn't mind. I mean, except that my bike the gears would rust up if I didn't get home quick and rinse it down with regular water, and then
your bicycle.
Yeah.
One thing.
I have a bicycle, Squib, and guess what? That was the only thing that survived the Malibu fire. So it means something.
I thought your Bowflex survived.
Yeah, my Bowflex did survive, but it only survived the only part that survived was the iron part of the frame. The wood parts, the working parts, and didn't. But the bicycle I called up, and that's just not any bicycle. That was like I actually took that bike into a local bike shop a few years back, and he looked at the bike. It's a Davidson, double butted steel frame. He looked at it. It's like, they don't make bikes like that. If that was a brand new bicycle, it'd be worth $5,000. And I was like, really? I only paid like $1,250 for it back in like 1980 something. Like, yeah, back in 1980, they don't make steel double butted bicycle frames anymore like Davidson did. And it was a great road bike. I used to have an aluminum one, and what happened was I was an avid bicycle rider, and I just the frame just broke because I put so much torque on it when I was riding, and the thing about steel is that it transfers all the power from when you push down on the pedal, it goes into the gears, if the frame isn't as stiff if it's made out of something else that flexes, then all your energy. But when you push down on the pedal, it goes into flexing the frame instead of into the gears. So yeah, I have an incredible bicycle, and I used to bike ride. I used to live in Reseda and bicycle up Mulholland all the way down to County Line, back down PCH and up to Panga Canyon, and then back to Reseda when I owned a condo in there. And so I did that. That's like about a 80, 90-mile ride, and it was a lot of it was up and down steep terrain, especially up to Panga from the PCH. But when I was young, that was normal for me. I could do that, and then of course then I ran a business and I got out of shape. I was telling Scoop about that in the pre-chat, my crazy life.
Well, the what do you call it there? One of the most hilarious things was on Motorpool Mondays, I used to have to wear basic issue boots, because if you wore the high speed boots that were easier to use or easier to run with, your feet would roast on the pavement, because there was like a half rock, half pavement pad, and the sun would beat and your soles would get so hot.
You're talking about wearing Cadillacs instead of Danners or something.
Yeah, just sitting there though. The Bellevues or whatever, the cheapest crap Bellevue ones.
Now wait a minute, I love those boots.
No, the Army gives you the crap ones where it's literally.
Oh, I get the good one.
It's a giant thick sole with like a little bit of shit on top.
Oh.
You'll roll your ankle all day with that thing.
Oh no, I get the good ones.
And if you wore the good ones, your feet would be on fire, and you would like want to move, but you can't move because you know how assholes are on Motorpool Monday or whatever your Motorpool Monday was. You have to stand around for hours, do inspections in the sun, waiting, or sometimes you'd be just standing there for like 15 minutes waiting for the battalion commander to show up.
I'm telling you what, those AAFES insoles you could buy at the PX were awesome. They were only like $1, and they did the job. Whenever I would come back to Michigan, I'd go to the Air National Guard base and I'd buy a shit ton of those things and take them back because they wouldn't sell them in Marine Corps Exchange. But remember those camouflage AAFES insoles you could get?
I never used them because I immediately bought. So I bought the high speed boots. Now the high speed boots wouldn't last very long, but they were amazing. When they're making you do like lightweight sapper crap that's useless. You gotta do all the time, even though you should be doing route clearance. The high speed boots were great.
What do you consider lightweight crapper?
Lightweight sapper is it's what the unit used to be. So the unit, like, it used to be a lightweight sapper company, which is like you run around, you get attached to like infantry units, and you help with explosives, or you just run around. Apparently, I guess. Where
help with explosives. Can you be more specific?
If you need, all right. Look at this. Might not be the best example, but look at Saving Private Ryan. When they're sitting there on the beach, they need the bang to take out the barbed wire or whatever it was.
The main.
So they called for the torpedo Bangalores, and the engineers carried the torpedo Bangalores. They're big, huge pipes that you screw together. So that's kind of like what, or if infantry guys need someone who can do explosive stuff, then the lightweight infantry will have sappers with them, or whatever. I mean, I don't know how. I've never. See, our unit was just supposed to be route clearance only. which means you're driving around doing 10 or 15 miles an hour and you wait till a bomb blows up and kills you. That's pretty much what they told me.
It's still amazing to me that my grandfather, Abraham, somehow survived 2.5 years as a sapper in the Polish Second Corps fighting under Russian command or Soviet command. And I mean, I was too young for him to tell me about it, but all I know is they built bridges, blew up bridges, built tank traps, blew up tank traps, and they assaulted German tanks with the Germans in them. So, and I think that's how when he mustered out with white phosphorus burns to the right side of his face and malaria. He never had to shave on the right side of his face because no whiskers ever grew. But
yeah, so, but I mean, so they don't really. That's more what the conventional role would be, where we were supposed to be doing lots of training for route clearance because that was the job that we were supposed to do. And the whole time I was there, I participated in 2 of the 3 trainings. That's all these guys did before they were activated to go to the southern Afghanistan to clear the way for the Marines. 3 trainings.
Yeah, well, obviously, modern warfare is different than it was in World War II.
Well, I mean, on the same end, a lot of the guys just tell me, you just drive around going slow and you look for bombs and you clear the route. And that's it.
That sounds like a dangerous job because that's all they do is plant. That's their favorite way of fighting is planting IEDs everywhere.
Well, I mean, for the most part, they say you just kind of fall asleep. And you just drive around and drink lots of energy drinks and smoke lots of cigarettes. You just drive around slow everywhere, waiting to be blown up. One guy is apparently insisted on taking a piss. This is the guy who fell asleep in front of the sergeant major briefing, the in-brief process to our unit. He apparently thought it would be gay to piss in front of other guys in a bottle. So he got out the back door of the Buffalo and someone set the IED off. It didn't kill him, but it just shook him like crazy. And that's why you pee in a piss bottle. You don't go out the back door of the Buffalo.
Never get out of the boat. Never get out of the boat.
The Buffalo is the big giant truck with the arm on it, the remote control arm.
The MRAP with an arm.
That's not an MRAP. It's a Buffalo. But
I thought Buffaloes were MRAPs, but
no.
I don't know my vehicles.
What about the water buffalo? That was the trailer you towed behind with 500 gallons of potable water. That was a water buffalo.
Yeah, we had fake buffaloes in Hawaii. They were just like giant trucks. They welded a bunch of shit on to make them look like they were buffaloes from like 30 feet away. If you squinted, it would look like a buffalo.
Yeah, the Marines are training up at Pahakaloa, I think, right now. Deployed from Kaneohe to the Big Island to do their training up at the range up there.
Yeah, we never got to go to that cool guy place. Pomade. Oh, let me tell you though, one thing is doing mine sweeping on Hawaii's soil with like the Naval Communications Station nearby was the hardest thing I think I've done in the Army, aside from like, not physical stuff.
Why?
Because of all the minerals in the ground and then the communications screwing up the ground penetrating radar.
Yeah, basalt, lava rock. It has all lots of
totally
iron.
Totally different than I literally walked right through the mine course in Fort Lost in the Woods there, Fort Leonard Wood in Missouri. I walked right through that like it wasn't there. I got to Hawaii, failed the first time immediately. I had no clue what was going on. The equipment wasn't working properly. It kept malfunctioning. It wasn't malfunctioning. It just needed noise cancel like 1,000 times. But and I was told it's very similar to the soil in Afghanistan. And man, I wouldn't want to be clearing that stuff.
Well, you don't get to pick your battlefields.
No, I picked my job though, so I knew what I was doing. Well, it looks like Pomade picked up the Glock 48. I'm looking at it right now.
Did Squib? Squib, did you say you getting a Glock or you have a Glock? I thought you were anti-Glock.
I think I should just explain on video. I'll do a video.
Oh, come on. Give us at least a tip. I'll let you. You can't
I'll
just
put it
say,
this way.
you just can't type that in the external and expect me not to ask.
Okay, I'll say this much. I never thought mags for these things cost so much, and I'll just leave it at that.
Glock mags?
Mags, the 33 rounders are only like $45 a piece or something from the actual from the factory.
$45. Okay, I think I can buy 1911 mags for like $8, and
Yeah, but these are 33 rounders.
whatever.
Yes, if you have a 1911, you won't need 33 rounds, right?
Yeah, because it's not a Glock.
I mean, you're gonna shoot it until it's dry, anyways. But
okay, I have been known to do a mag dump or two at a deer, but
everybody,
everybody,
that's what everybody, almost everybody. Let's say if you have lots of training, and almost everybody, when you get hit with a high stress, shoot the first mag, you're gonna dump it. Or I mean, I don't know. They also say that. Was it Yankee always says that most gunfights end after the first magazine?
Yankee Marshall is a socially trending disease. He's an STD, the socially trending disease. I wouldn't take advice from him on anything.
Oh yeah, he says the pomade says the extendos are only $30. Is he talking about the Korean ones?
No, the Glock factory mags and the ETS, I think it is.
Oh, the ETS mags are nice. I've used them a couple different guns, including the MP5. They are nice. Now, I've heard people say that they're not nice and that they've had problems with them, but I have not. So, whatever that's worth.
Well, I've got some Glock mags, and I've got something for them to go in. But I wasn't going to say anything until I made a video. So.
Uh-oh.
Oh, come on.
How are you
just give me the two model. Tell me the model number it is. And
how are you handling that trigger pull that's always the same? And no need for a safety.
I don't want to talk about it.
It must be terrible.
I don't want to talk about it.
That's my favorite thing about him. Well, that and cleaning.
You sound like trying to sound like a girl. Man up and just say the fucking model number.
I have dumped my toxic.
I don't want to talk about it. I have a headache.
For cleaning purposes, I can completely field strip the Glock with like my plastic punch. That means take the extractor out, all the springs, take the striker out, and that's one of my favorite things about the Glock, is that I don't need to screw up to go have to get new roll pins because I want to clean my gun. Literally one of my favorite things about them. Because those roll pins, you can only punch them in and out so many times before they start losing their spring tension. You got to buy new ones, or it's some weird one for the Walther. Where are you going to find it?
Well, it's not hard getting Glock parts off the internet.
What's great is you don't even need to, because I just use a plastic punch and I can take the whole gun apart.
Yeah.
I bet you can clean it by sticking it in the dishwasher.
Well, that's true, too. I guess people have been using those sonic cleaners, but I get kind of worried because you just clean all of it out of it. Like, you clean it so there's no lubricant, and I don't think that's a good idea. But I'm also, I come from the Army mentality where wetter is better. Wetter is better.
Yeah, sometimes just gun needs to be sprayed down with CLP or something to make it function properly. But I'll have to say, Glock is a very reliable weapon. I mean,
I think it's kind of a no thrills thing, though.
I don't want if I have to use them, I'll have enough. If I have to use a firearm, it won't. The model number that I have to use or the brand won't impact my level of adrenaline running through my system. I mean, I'll probably be calm and everything, but I don't use it for fun. It's a tool that I hope I never have to use. I know how. I know it works. That's all I need. I don't need anything else from it.
I was thinking about trying out a compensator for mine, but I probably just need to spend that money on ammo and get more practice with what I've got.
Honestly, as far as ammo runs go, I've been spending all my ammo run money on number 10 cans of Mountain House. I hate to say it, but
get yourself in the block. Lose that nickel-plated system pistol.
There you go. I got a soundbite for everything now.
No,
Okay, wrong one. Shoot.
Glock has a 10 magazine pouch.
I showed what I was using for my Glock and LC9S Pro. If I turn on the camera, I'll need this light. I'm going to use my red light then, I guess. Let's see. Because it's nighttime and dark in here. I don't have a light in this room, so I have to use a flashlight. Let me see if I can actually find the fucking thing. All right. Camera, I use this. It's like the light helps or not. But it's a shotgun shell pouch, but I just have all my Glock and LC9S Pro mags in it, just like that.
Nice. Wait, my phone might die. I only have 5% battery left. So.
Oh, okay. Well, we're getting towards the long of the tooth on this, Chad. But so I've got my Glock mags. I got my LC9. It's all my 9mm stuff, which is the weapons that I keep by where I sleep. So unless the shit hits the fan, I mean, if the shit hits the fan, I'll sleep with like a 357 Magnum instead of my 9s. But the grid is still up. The food stamp snap riots have not started yet, and I don't think they'll start. I was talking to Squib about I had done some research we mentioned in the last week's chat and talked about this on the pre-chat with Squib about the chances of a Chinese invasion of Taiwan by the PLA, People's Liberation Army. And apparently there's 2 months where it is feasible, which is April and October. And those are the only 2 months where it is feasible as far as the tides and weather patterns. That would be April and October. So if it was to happen, it would be one of those 2 months. So April's the first one. So I'll just leave it at that. And I'm not really worried about it. And besides, there's nothing I could do about it, so there's no point. But my ammo money, I've been spending it on freeze-dried foods. I did want to mention I had a delivery issue from Amazon order from I'll Go Outdoors. So that if you remember in like the food, I did a response to Oklahoma Preppers food go bag, and I used some Bridgeford MRE like sandwiches. Shelf stable type sandwiches, and I had a delivery issue with Algo, that the vendor on Amazon, and because of my last order, they shorted me 6 MREs, and so they got the count wrong on one of the orders, and so I sent them problem with the order complaint through Amazon, and the owner of the company got back to me and he said, yes, sometimes I make a mistake. I'll get you I can either give you credit or I'll just get you the stuff mailed out in 7 days. So I said, well, just send me the stuff I ordered, and if it gets here late, that's okay. And like a month and a half later, it never got here. So I sent them another letter, and I filed another complaint with Amazon and said, as good as these products are, I mean, I can't order from you guys anymore because I just don't like being lied to. It's been like a month and a half. You said 7 days. So the good news is that he actually sent me a letter. The CEO of the company said, this is my fault. We changed over our ordering software system on the 1st of December, and the order that I scheduled didn't go through from the old software to the new software. So they gave me credit for the missing items on my credit card, and they sent me a box of the stuff that I ordered, plus I got 2 weeks worth of sandwiches, those MREs, free, and they credited me the stuff because it never got here. So I got no problem ordering from them again because he said it was his fault. he was sorry. And I ran a business. I know stuff. Sometimes shit happens. And so, but I mean, they gave me credit on my credit card, and he said he sent me a letter apologizing. He said he hoped he could keep my business, but he sent me so many sandwiches. I don't know when the next time I'll need to order from. And he sent them to me for free. So I got no problems with ordering those Bridgeford sandwiches off of Amazon still. They did mess up my order, but I mean, the guy sent me a whole box of, I think it would have to be like a couple dozen or even more of those Bridgeford MRE sandwiches. And
did you do a video on those?
They were in my food go bag. That was the kind of a response to Oklahoma's prepper. He tagged me for a response, and then he told me about it because I had missed the video. And so if you order, I don't have a problem ordering, because the guy that runs that company, he went out of his way to like apologize, give me credit, and send me like a box full of free sandwiches.
What was it called again?
Bridgeford. And it was All Go Outdoors was the vendor on Amazon. Some flavors are better than others. If you like, he sent me a bunch of stuff that I'm not supposed to have. The breakfast sandwiches. They have bacon cheddar breakfast sandwiches. If you like that kind of thing, I'll Go Outdoors.
Bridgeford, you said, or is it
yeah, Bridgeford makes them. Bridgeford manufactures them, and I'll Go Outdoors was the vendor on Amazon. ALLGO Outdoors.
I'm not seeing them.
Type up Bridgeford.
I did. I'm seeing the Bridgeford, but I'm not seeing the.
Well, if you click on the individual flavors, they'll probably come. I'll Go Outdoors will probably come up. So just keep clicking on the different flavors, like the bacon cheddar. I personally like the Cinnabon, and the filled French toast was excellent for like a breakfast MRE sandwich kind of thing. They're basically
pizza one.
I have not tried that because I'm not supposed to have pizza, so I didn't order it. It looks great if I could eat cheese, but I shouldn't even eat the ones that they sent me, but they were free, and I haven't had bacon and cheddar cheese in the same place because it's against my cardiologist order. But in an emergency situation, I tried one.
A bunch of kosher meals popped up, and like this suggested, like kosher MREs.
Kosher MREs? Well,
a bunch of them popped up.
Well, I know that slap your mama is kosher. that spice is that Oklahoma like that I bought some, and I think Squib got some. It's black peppers, red peppers, salt, and garlic.
Yeah.
Garlic.
We just tried it on chicken wings yesterday. It wasn't
How was
bad.
It
wasn't bad. But now, see, we got that Frank's Red Hot. It's got a bottle of spice too, just like this Slap Your Mama. And my wife seasoned the chicken with that a week ago, and it was just weak. And we thought it would be strong because Frank's is pretty hot, right? So when I got the Slap Your Mama, I said, just slather it on there. And I mean, she coated it on there, and it was strong. She said, well, you told me to. And I was like, yeah, I did, didn't I? So I'd like to try it again, maybe mixed with something else. I don't know, maybe some chipotle or something. I don't know.
Chipotle. So that's our first field report on Slap Your Mama.
Pretty good.
I gotta thank you and Oklahoma Prepper for that, because he brought it up, and then you showed that you could get it at Walmart, and I'm like, damn, if you can get it at Walmart in Hawaii, you can get it at Walmart in Michigan, and it was tucked away in the back, but it was there. So
yeah, in my Walmart they keep all the spices in one spot, so it wasn't that hard to find.
No, it was where the spices were, but it was pushed all the way back, and the price tag was taken off the front. And you know how they got the little slots at each, the rows that they're all in?
Yeah.
So either that or there was a run on it earlier in the day, and people were so nuts they ripped the price tag off with it.
Michigan is watching my videos, I guess, and then they saw the Slap Your Mom, and they all made a mad dash to Walmart for that spice. But in Kona, I just bought 2 bottles of it. Okay, so what was this thing about Vanessa was saying that she studied for master degrees and her marriage ended or something? I mean, I don't get what all that how that happened. Sorry to hear it.
Well, we're just going to have to get her on as a guest one night. Yes, you, Vanessa. You're going to have to do it. So she can tell everybody.
If she wants to, she's welcome. I don't know. We're getting close to the end of this one, but come by next week if you're on. Is she on Gun Channels?
Yeah, I don't know. Let me see. You have to put gunchannels.com, all one word, in there now.
Yeah, it's just easier for me to share links if you're on Gun Channels because I could post the links, not having people unless they have their email address. What I usually do is I send out an email with the show link to a bunch of people that I know. Use all the usual suspects, and
what am I thinking here? Yeah.
Well, obviously, school and she says she is on Gun Channels. So yeah. Well, my show is gunchannels.com/HVS. So if you ever want a link, go there and I'll type something in the external or on Gun Channels, and I'll post a link on the Gun Channel side. But I'm glad to hear it's still together. I mean, business or school, they can all definitely put stress on relationships or even make them flipping impossible. I'm very well aware of that one. Because people take their obligations to their job or their education seriously. And education is important. And I think my only advice that I have for young people going to college is do it like it's a training course. Do it like it's an obstacle course. Get the fuck through it as fast as you can. You're not there for enlightenment of any kind. You're there. It's an obstacle course. You'll learn by getting through it, but it's an obstacle course. Don't expect like enlightenment. Because you won't find it there. That comes later in life anyway.
Okay, I do not have permission to view this private page. So, Vanessa, that's what I say to you.
Don't be mean. If you want to say hi on any time on Gun Channels, and just gunchannels.com/HVS. I don't watch it the entire time during the show, but if you, either between typing on the external or on the gunchannels.com/HVS, I'll see it eventually and post a link. And if you don't, after a while, if you're not like looking at the text chat, you won't see it. So I'll have to repost the links or stuff like that.
Channels. Let's see. Let's type in Hawaii.
HVS. Gunchannels.com/HVS.
Look at this. Welcome to the Hawaii V Squad chat.
Is that what it says?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I see you down there now.
I typed in hi. I was going to type in hi, asshole, but I just typed in hi. Vanessa, it says, I do not have permission to view your page, your member page.
Yeah, I can't even figure out how to post anything on Gun Channels anymore, at least not with Internet Explorer.
I have nothing but problems with it, but I'm sure there's something I'm doing wrong here. So I go into channels, and then I click on members, and I type in member keywords, and I type Vanessa, right? And I hit enter today, and it says Vanessa Kitty, 4 groups joined. And then I go to Vanessa Kitty, and it says you do not have permission to view this private page. I guess I'm not one of the cool kids. I feel like Rodney Dangerfield.
All right.
Okay, so let's go.
Oh, she signed into Gun Channels.
I'm looking on the home page. Oh, let's see. Let's see here. You're hidden. Okay, I can't find it.
Copy. Type panel link. Yeah, please come on and like insult Squib or something.
Yeah,
or
no,
insult
okay,
me.
so I clicked on her icon and it says you do not have permission to view this private page. She's all private, personal.
Well, I guess there's a way that's,
It's a
it's
top secret. It's top secret. It's like that's
don't ask
fine.
don't ask
You
me. I
don't-
just, to quote Hudson, don't ask me, man. I just work here.
Vanessa, I'm not sure how to change it. There might be something in settings. Let me see if I can go to my page. I don't even know how to get onto my page. Let's see, channels, members, Squib. I have to search for myself to get on my own page. Here I am. Okay, so privacy maybe. Profile posting privacy, all registered members. I'm set up that way, so I don't have anybody blocked. So maybe it's under when you go to settings, privacy. Who can post on your profile? If you've got it on only me, maybe that's what's doing it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
what's
guessing.
weird for me is like, I mean, I'm originally on. I have like a Hawaii Volcano Squad channel, but then G-Web's created like Hawaii V Squad for my show. I think because of I think it created a different channel for my podcast or whatever this is, live streams, because I don't know if Hawaii Volcano Squad was too many letters or something for the old software, but I've always had, he set it up and I've always had these pages, and it didn't, I mean, so I don't even know how it works or anything. I'm not a tech guy. So like I said, don't ask me. I just work here. Except nobody pays me.
All right, I'm signing out and signing back in to see if it will accept. See, we're going to do tech support right here on the live on air. Okay.
Well, Vanessa, if you go to gunchannels.com/HVS, you should be able to
Yeah, it still says I
see
can't.
my text chat.
I don't have permission. It's a private page, so I guess that wasn't it. It's not that. So I don't know what it is. I'm
Well,
sure you did the. Maybe it has to reset itself later. Sometimes Gun Channels does some weird stuff. I don't know. But in the meantime, I put my email over there in the top chat, live chat. What is this? Live chat. So if you send me an email, then there we go. We have each other's emails. We have to stay in constant communication with each other. All of us.
Yeah, and at some point we'll know what kind of luck you got.
You know, and that's just it. And I get the group text only when I'm trying to sleep. You guys all go nuts getting in there. Phone just starts chirping and chirping. And I'm like,
Well, I turned off all my audio for anything because it used to go crazy, and I got tired of hearing it. So I turned off every audio notification. If I am not looking at the phone, you can text me and I won't know it. But I do check the phone to keep up on you guys, and it's like that's how I. Like with Walmart, I use the text chat to reorder my prescriptions every month, my refills. It's pretty handy the way they do it because you don't have to worry about always doing it on the first of the month or everything because they have the insurance company they'll only distribute 30 days worth of medications to you. So I could pay for my meds myself, and with some of them I do. But for the stuff that my insurance company pays for, I just have to type. They text me, your refills are time for your refills. I just text them back refill all my refills, and it'll be ready when I get to Walmart. I don't have to go into the order window. It's just ready when I get there, which is better than having to walk around and buy stuff for 40 minutes that I don't really need. And it's just convenient to do it by text. So It's like, yeah, I could have gone today if I didn't have a show to do and picked up my meds, but I'll go tomorrow and probably buy just one or two things. But I don't know what. I'll buy more toilet paper. That's like the ultimate prepper thing. That's I guess because I haven't been buying ammo lately. I did do an ammo run about 4 weeks ago. Last year, I think no, it wasn't even. It was like 3 weeks ago. But really, it's been mostly about. I wanted to double down. What I really doubled down on was my just long-term pantry items, and like getting free 2 weeks of free Bridgeford sandwiches was like fucking awesome. And it was like Amazon error in your favor. Collect 2 weeks worth of free sandwiches to my pantry, but I have a lot of number 10 cans of stuff, and I've really doubled. Well, I think I tripled my number 10 cans. I think Dano was saying a lot of it's empty space in number 10 cans but it is what it is.
It looks like a freaking Hot Pocket.
Yeah, a little, except it's shelf stable. You don't have to keep it in a freezer.
Rupan, did you Google these? Bridgeford sandwich?
Yeah, I did.
I can't hear you.
The Italian one looks all right. I had to switch over a headset. I had to switch over to the crap headset.
Okay.
Ooh, they do have honey barbecue beef.
Oh.
I haven't tried that one. The ones I really like the Phil French toast ones. I'll send you a link, Vanessa, one second. You PM me on Gun Channel. So let me see if I can copy and paste this.
Am I going to have to do some sort of MRE video? Add to cart. Damn it.
I like the Phil French toast ones, the Cinnabons version, and you will probably like the cheddar and bacon one, a breakfast sandwich. The Italian sausage and cheese, it wasn't Italian, it wasn't sausage, there was cheese, but I wasn't impressed with that one. But again, it's if you're talking about survival food, it works.
The train's here.
Oh yeah, Squib's house, the train.
That's what it sounds like from my kitchen. Okay, so wait a minute. What's the shelf life on this crap? 3+ years. 3+ years, it says.
Yeah, it's not as good as like a number 10 can of Mountain House, but I mean, it'll last. It's good. It tastes pretty good. It's like a quick. If you have to throw it takes 2 minutes to heat up on a pan. You know, you're done. 2 minutes and you're done. I have never microwaved one of those things. I just put it on a pan, heated it up.
Can you eat it cold?
I'm sure you can. I haven't done it. I mean, it'll probably be better warm. Most people like warm food.
Speak for yourself.
I like warm food. Happy?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I PM'd Vanessa the link, so hopefully you could log into the show if you want to. Before we wrap it up, I'll keep the live stream open for another 5 or 10 minutes before we wrap this one up.
I think we had a good show tonight.
Pretty good for a human.
Nice Aliens reference. No, I mean, we covered a lot of things.
Yeah, well, we always want, that's the whole thing. You guys are military, and remember, Ripley wasn't in the military. So civilians can kick ass too sometimes.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't have a problem with having some civilians on my team, but I got to tell you, I mean, if I could have it all veterans, I probably would, just because we speak the same language. So.
Yeah, hey, if I could have SEAL Team 6 backing me up everywhere I went, or in a shit hits the fan, I would choose SEAL Team 6 too over me.
I don't know. I mean, I'm down with having Rupan on my team because I used to hang out with combat engineers. Those guys are pretty cool. So,
I'm just a civilian. So,
hey, you guys know how to party and blow shit up both. So it's like, here, blow this up. Here, blow this up. Here. Oh, no. It's kind of like going over to somebody's house and they try to feed you. Well, combat engineers are like, oh, you got to try this, man. You ain't blown up shit till you blown up this.
see, I should probably actually do a separate video just like thanking that guy for, fixing the problem and sending me all those free sandwiches. But
yeah, you're gonna need to get yourself some pickets. We're gonna start making some improvised claymores. I'm
still waiting for those guys in Michigan to make one hedgehog. I want to see one hedgehog out of these guys.
What was it? You can use the pickets for the Bangalores, right? Yeah, you could use the pickets as an improvised Bangalore. I forget
what's
what we
a
did.
picket.
The picket fence, the metal picket fences for doing tank and vehicle obstacles. They're like those cheap pickets. You can put a bunch of C4 on them and turn them into your own little Bangalores. They don't screw together, though.
Well, I think all they're going to have at Dusty's farm is like one small container of binary, and that's it. That's all I know about.
Okay, so I think the binary's setting on the shelf in front of his laptop in his beer barn. But we could rig the place with explosives. It's really not necessary. I'm telling you, once you come out there, you'll be like, oh, you'll see them way before they get here. I mean, you're not going to sneak up on the place. I'm sorry, you're just not.
Well, what about darkness? You have night vision?
I don't need night vision.
Famous last words. Tell that to SEAL Team 6. I promise you they have night vision.
I've talked to SEALs before. Whatever.
Whatever happened to... didn't I hear the phrase, we own the night or something from that?
Yeah, but they're also in and out. They ain't like hanging around forever.
Yeah,
with huge targets on their head. Where Dusty's just like hanging out with a big target. Not saying he's got a target, but I mean, you get what I'm saying. Like, if someone's looking to do some harm, they can hang around and watch him for a couple days and know what he's going to do and how he's going to do it.
If they want to get hungry, yeah.
Well, they're going to get it.
Okay, what were we talking about? I forgot.
If they think they got it, Dusty's going to give it to him again.
All right, well, she didn't log on yet, but whatever. She has the link in her PM on gun channels. Anyway, so what were we talking about at Dusty's farm? I forget. Yes, go ahead.
You want explosives.
I want a hedgehog.
You know how many hedgehogs we would have to make to surround his property?
I'll settle for one hedgehog, dude.
Where were we going to put it? The driveway?
Somewhere where his wife can't see it. You have to bury it and dig it up in case the shit hits the fan. But it's all I can say is there's no place. Dusty's farm isn't some magical place where nothing bad will ever happen. If the shit hits the fan, bad shit will happen everywhere.
The worst thing that could happen at Dusty's farm is that we run out of alcohol and ammo. Yeah.
Ammo with all the reloading shit that he has there. That.
You're right, and we can brew. So yeah, we're good. I mean, the rest of it, we slaughter a couple hogs.
What about toilet paper?
Okay, I guess I'm going to the corn cob.
you know, I'm not visiting Dusty's farm. If I show up, I'm going to show up with like a pallet of toilet paper. I'm not kidding. You guys can use the fucking corn cob.
Yeah, we'll
I
go
swear,
cobbing.
some Indian tribe is going to get wind of this and just raid Dusty's farm for being accused of using corn cobs. And then you're going to have real problems on Dusty's farms. There'll be you insult some Indian tribe, and then you'll have real problems. I was reading in the one thing that I found interesting in that book about Crazy Horses is the way that he learned that white people calculate their victories in a battle by how many dead people, how many people they kill. So it's a body count. And when the Native Americans, like the Lakota, used to fight, like say the Blackfeet or some of their rival Native American other tribes, that's not how they calculated victory. It was they all knew what all the tribes, they knew each other, they knew what their capabilities were, and so it was who had the most powerful medicine, who had the best, who had the bravest, they didn't calculate their victories the same way. And that's an important part of warfare, is how you calculate your victories. And Crazy Horse figured out the only thing that impressed white people is just the body count. So if they were going to win, they would have to kill a lot of white people if they were going to win a war. And I mean, he figured that that was an impossible thing to do because of the numbers of people. But he was one of the original people that had I will not turn in my horse or my gun. That was Crazy Horse that said that. I will not turn in my horse or my gun. But he's a very interesting person to learn about. I think the author of that book said was there's people know two different Crazy Horses. They know the legend of Crazy Horse, based on all the battles that he fought. I mean, he was the one that, with Sitting Bull, defeated Custer at the Little Bighorn. Where, by the way, Squib, the one reason that Custer lost, you know what he forgot to bring with him?
What?
His Gatling guns. His Gatling guns. His minigun. He didn't have any fucking miniguns. He left them in the wagons because they were too bulky, the ammo weighed too much, the horses would move too slow, he couldn't maneuver fast enough. He had a lot of reasons for not bringing the Gatling guns, but it was the one thing that could have saved his life.
He was in terrain that didn't favor the weapons that his men had. The Indians had weapons that were better for that sort of terrain, and they were able to move in close and use them. His weapons could outrange the Indian weapons, but where they were at, it was kind of pointless. So,
yeah, well, they knew all they had to do was get them to get the blue dressed soldiers, Custer soldiers, to fire one shot, and then they could rush them. And if he would have brought his Gatling guns with him, they would have had a pretty good chance of surviving. But they didn't. So that's my last plug for miniguns tonight. We'll do the soundbite, but if I can find it, let's see on my cell phone. Where's my? Yeah, here it is. Yeah. The Indians would have, if they saw that, they would have turned around and just left. I mean, they were ready to kill a lot of soldiers. I mean, they had plenty of reasons to. They were all worked up, but they would have had those Gatling guns working. Nope. That's not what they were ready for. They were ready for the weapons that Custer had, and he didn't have a chance. And but that was a pretty big victory for Crazy Horse and Sitting Bull. Of course, in the end, the Indians lost. But and so there's two. I was saying there's two versions of Crazy Horse. Crazy Horse, the legend of the people that know, based on the battles he fought and the deeds that he did, or Crazy Horse, just the regular human being, and what he had to do as just how his life, living his life was. And that was what was interesting about that book that I talked about, The Journey of Crazy Horse by Marshall. John Marshall? I forget the first name. Sorry, Mr. Marshall. But it's an interesting book, Journey of Crazy Horse, if you're interested. Worth a read. Those who are wise will take something from the past into the future with them. So, history's, hey, I'm a history guy. What can I say? I like reading about that stuff. All right. Well, I don't see Vanessa, so I think we're getting pretty clear to ending this week's show. I'll check the external really quick to see if there's anybody typing anything.
Okay, I think I found her. I mean, not live. She's not going to go live.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Hey, give us a thumbs up if you can, and we'll have an interesting topic of some kind next week. Or see if I have any more quick sound bites I can play. Oh yeah, here you go. Right. Well, we'll try and entertain you next week too, and I didn't play the last one this week, so here you go.
Clash. Who gives a shit about Clash?
All right. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, take care of yourselves. Keep your heads down. Enjoy your life and be peaceful out there. Take care of each other. God bless you.